sweat. Yeah, wait, look, still pushing the limits and breaking the chains. Passionate, heart and chaos in my veins. You can go bet a billion on my name. Bloody the work I put into the game. Divide the vibes, provide the knowledge. Got the motion like a college. You can get lost in the wave, it's violent. WWF3 with BF. Passionate armor warrior of the light. It's big time way I'm turning wrongs to right. Taking down my demons, I'm a smiter. 4v1, I'm a boss fighter. Immersive when I hit a missile one tap. Break him, I'ma take him to his shatter point. I was mobile like a destination with world shots cooking at my station. I never turn my back on my creation. I can never turn my back on my community. I feel this feeling when I'm live. It's reminiscent of a high. I tell the haters say goodbye. Blast them away with one look in the eye. A football where they fly. More than a million on my mind. I'm pushing the limits and breaking the chains. Passionate, heart and chaos in my veins. You can go bet a billion on my name. Bloody the work I put into the game. Divide the vibes, provide the knowledge. Got the motion like a college. You can get lost in the wave, it's violent. WWF3 with BF. I never turn my back on my creation. I can never turn my back on my community. I feel this feeling when I'm live. It's reminiscent of a high. I tell the haters say goodbye. Blast them away with one look in the eye. A football where they fly. More than a million on my mind. I'm passionate, armor warrior of the light. It's big time way I'm turning wrongs to right. And taking down my demons, I'm a smiter. 4v1, I'm a boss fighter. Immersive when I hit a missile one tap. Break him, I'ma take him to his shatter point. I was mobile like a desolation with world shots cooking at my station. Pushing the limits and breaking the chains. Passionate, heart and chaos in my veins. You can go bet a billion on my name. Bloody the work I put into the game. Divide the vibes, provide the knowledge. Got the motion like a college. You can get lost in the wave, it's violent. WWF3 with BF.
Oh, what? Oh, hold up. Let's start over again because technical difficulties as we work through, getting more familiar and comfortable with our podcast here. You guys got to see us do our mime introduction. We will now provide some context on what we were talking about. So, all right, that $1 billion idea that you were just about to explain to me, let's rehash this out for everybody because now we got Diamond Hands and Kangaroo Boy in the house. Sure, we'll get more people in and we'll get our first marbles rolling pretty soon for a $5 USDC. And we will keep giving out giveaways. And if there are only 4 people, 5 people, I don't give a shit. We'll just keep giving you some money. Why not?
If it's just
Yeah,
you and me, do I just by default win everything?
if it's just you and me, then by default you would just win everything. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Nobody come here. Nothing to see here. Go away.
Well, it's good to have you back and us back because, man, I look forward to this every week. What we try to accomplish with this podcast is, well, for one, we're creating a space that we can hang out and talk about some of the fun things that are happening in FAM. Then we'll talk about, maybe some things that are bigger happening in the Web3 space and crypto gaming and maybe just cryptocurrency in general. But aside from that, we talk about history. We touch on politics. Uh, we talk about movies, music. We talk about just anything and everything because it's my podcast and I can do whatever the hell I want. And I shouldn't even
It's
say
my
this
sexy
is.
body. I do what I want.
I shouldn't say it's just my podcast. I mean, this is Exotic's like baby creation, and I'm more or less the face. So
This is
if
what
you
happens when you text Billion and say we should do a podcast.
And I'm like, that is a fantastic idea. But look at others like the Joe Rogan Experience is the most popular one, right? You've got Jamie
Yeah.
working with him. You've got Brian Redband that was the producer of that, getting that shot. So there's not like we're discrediting Exotic as much as I can have you on here. I want you on here. You are my muse when it comes to the podcast because I don't think I feel more comfortable than when I know you're right there with me. So, I mean, this is a partnership going forward. You're going to get both of us as often as we possibly can. There may be some side things where I just venture off and we do a Billy Goats special with one of the studio heads from one of our favorite games, or maybe we get some other prominent figures that decide they want to hop on and talk to those that are in the fam community because we are not putting limits on ourselves in the content that we discuss, in the guests that we provide. This is simply just us, and you're going to get us. And if you like hanging out with us, you like what we have, please, we invite you to come weekly. Exotic, we were talking about your week last week. I kind of got excited and cut you off because I found out that others were not going to hear your amazing voice yet. So, how's it going, man? What's been going on?
Well, speaking of voices, I have mine back, so no hindrance of my voice. So yeah, that's
Yay!
good. It's it's been really busy since last Saturday. What is it, Wednesday? So a good 5 days ago. My wife used her bonus this year to buy a gazebo, and we started building that and setting it up and screwing it into the back patio on Saturday. It was done just in time because wind. As soon as we got the roof done, the wind came. And we're like, oh shit, we better bolt this fucker down real quick. Otherwise, it's going to be an umbrella. It's going to take up, and away. It was actually really close. Like, honestly, 10 more minutes of, like, if we started 10 minutes later, we might have been in big trouble.
Mm.
We couldn't even put the curtains and the mosquito nets around it because it was so windy.
Oh my
But we
goodness.
got that, literally just finished the gazebo today. We had to wait for the wind to die down to put the curtains and everything on. So that's done. And then under it, so it's a raised patio. So then under that is like just a concrete slab, and I'm putting
Mhm.
fence around two of the sides. Obviously, one of the sides is attached to the house, so I can like put my lawnmower and my weed eater and all my other junk in there. So I have room for my motorcycle that I just picked up.
Oh
Um,
snap!
Yep. So I just got my first Harley. I bought it last year, but I just now got to pick it up. So pretty exciting. We had to move the cars into all three different parts of the garage because my truck is just too big where it was. We couldn't fit the bike in the garage. So I moved my truck. We put her car in a different spot, my son's in a different spot, and we got enough room for both my motorcycles. So those are in the garage, nice, safe, and sound. I'll have pictures on the podcast next week. Um,
Ooh.
so I've got a Honda Shadow, a 2008 that I got for free from my grandfather. So I decided I didn't want to drive it a lot because it's really important to me. I cherish that motorcycle more than probably anything that I own that's a material thing. So I decided, you know what? I think I'll just buy a Harley that I can drive the fuck out of. And then I can leave the Honda Shadow in the garage nice and clean and neat all the time.
That's
So yeah,
awesome.
really, really exciting. I told my wife this when I was grilling out and enjoying our new gazebo. I will never forget this day because it's the day I got to pick up my first ever Harley. We
Mhm.
finished the gazebo. I got to grill outside rather than in the garage like I have been for 2 years.
Grilling's
So yeah,
awesome.
it's a great day. I even got all three of our cars oil changed, cleaned, fueled up. Like, it just feels good to have things accomplished, and I
Oh,
accomplished a lot today.
that reminds me, and we'll keep the conversation going while I roll around here in just a quick moment. Um, oh, where's that?
So
Oh,
this is why he has to, why we're both here. So when his chair is just spinning in circles, I can keep the engagement going.
you spin me
Hello,
right
Kangaroo Boy.
round.
Good to see you again. Hope to meet you someday. We do have to go up to Minnesota I think we're gonna go up here with the next couple months to spend some time with my cousin Derek. So that means I get to see my billion. And what did you bring us? Is this show and tell?
This is show and tell.
Sweet.
Yeah, and it will be nice to have you up here because every time I go to my favorite sushi restaurant, I would rather be just like cheersing a little sushi on some chopsticks rather than sending you pictures. So faster you can get
Yes.
up here and
Yeah.
hang out.
Every time you send me the pictures of your sushi, I kind of want to reach through the phone and strike.
Oh,
But that's
that
okay.
that place is a gem, man. All right. So, my brother-in-law got me this NFL official grilling set for this grilling
Ooh.
season that's starting, and I'm so excited. If you don't
I'm pretty
know,
sure that's the logo for the Lions, right? You got a Lions
oh
grill set.
yeah,
That's
yeah, that's officially the Lions logo right there, right? Yeah, okay. As you can see, I am in, well, I guess it's backwards. I gotta get those cameras so it actually shows my true form. Um, Huge Vikings fan. Huge Vikings fan.
I had my Lions shirt on earlier, but when I moved one of the tables on our deck to get it out of the way,
Mm-hmm.
apparently there was a bunch of water, like not on top of it, but like under it or something. I lifted up, put it down, and I just had this massive lake of whatever dirty ass water go all the way down my lion shirt. So that better not be stained. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to. Oh, um, my wife bought a Viking shirt not long
Oh,
ago because she spilled something on her shirt, and we went to a gas station, and they were $5.
nice.
So she bought a Viking shirt. She has a Viking shirt, but
You
that's
know,
because it was $5.
we're gonna take a quick step back to the spill on the shirt, and I just want to acknowledge that your shirt probably gained more value and looks much better completely stained and messed up than it did prior to that, which is probably why you wore it while you were working today. That makes the most sense. Like if I was gonna
Oh
go
man.
jump into a heap of crap, I'd probably wear a Packers shirt. So,
Now I'm too smart to bring up like what's the record between the Lions and Vikings this last season because I know that if you take that a little bit longer and you switch it out on my lifestyle, that I will not win this argument because the Lions have been absolute trash for my whole life. And now they're all of a sudden America's team because they're the most watched NFL team in the whole league.
oh my
I guess it took
goodness.
people a while to realize how awesome they are.
They're so fun. They are fun to watch, truly.
Yeah.
And
They've got
and
a pretty nice Swiss Army knife going on in there with the coach and the running backs. The wide receiver core is really good. Obviously, Goff is Goff, and everyone's loving Goff. Even I think even Vikings fans are rooting for Goff at this point.
you know, I think we're rooting for JJ to JJ for this
Yeah,
entire season. And
Andy Dalton's gone for good, right? Like you guys got rid of him.
it wasn't Dalton, it was oh God, what was his name?
Darnold.
Darnold. Sam Darnold.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
bad.
I mean, he was
Very similar name, two very mediocre quarterbacks.
correct. He didn't do anything that was memorable. He had a productive season. Well, we are so used to that with Kirk Cousins for so many years of just a productive regular season and shit in the
Yeah, and then
bed
shit the bed.
getting to the
We both said
postseason.
at the same time,
Yeah.
Jinx, you owe me a coat.
Why don't you come on over? I will give that to you. And then we can talk more. Like, just, okay. So, why don't we continue this project? So, is this the end of your project stuff that you're working on in the backyard for at least this year or this season? Or do you have more that you're going to be adding on, like gardening and all that fun stuff that's going to be happening soon?
I probably have another 2 hours of work on that fence I was telling you about that I'm building around that concrete platform. I only hung up one of like 8 pieces just before this, just because I wanted to see how it looked. It looks good. I'm not sure if the plastic fence is not like perfectly level or if it's my deck because when I put them together, one's like it's like this. So I don't
Oh,
know if I
geez.
just trim it Yeah, I don't know. It's not something I'm gonna be able to fix. I'm just gonna have to make it work.
I decided to make us a little bit bigger on the screen. Um,
Ooh,
I'll,
bigger is better.
I'll have to duplicate the scene and make a real quick modification for in the future when it drops down to one person. Like if you had to leave, then I'm not like making these changes on the fly. Easy
Yeah.
enough to do in OBS, but I'd prefer not to do that.
Um. So yeah, almost done with the projects, and then of course, there's more projects always coming, but I don't know if anything outside. I'm leaning towards maybe getting with one of those lawn companies again because my lawn needs like a lot of help. It just looks so bad. Um, it'll look green after like the winter weather's completely gone. It might snow Monday. But, like once all that weather's gone, it'll be green for like a week, and then it'll just look like shit again.
Hmm.
So I might like have it aerated. I might have it seeded, fertilized, and all that stuff, but not by me because I'm no expert with lawn care. I can mow, I can weed eat, but that's about it.
I've got
What's your
a
lawn like? You have a big lawn?
Oh, when I bought this house, not was it last? Yeah, it wasn't last year. It was the year before. When I bought it, it was a model home, and from my neighbors, they had told us they did not water the lawn once in like a year, year and a half. And 3 weeks before we moved in, they had it watering night and day. And there's two problems that I see with that. Number one,
At least one.
the number one is as soon as that water bill gets transferred in our name, we are paying
Yep,
for that.
that was the
Number
one thing that I was thinking of.
number two, it killed. We had scorching heats up here. Our over half of our lawn was dead, and one of our trees was dead. So we were pissed every single day calling the association like, fix this now. It was unacceptable. You know, when you pay over $500,000 for a house, you kind of expect the lawn to be fucking pristine. And it was not. So the whole summer, they were scheduling it until I think it was towards the end of July. They sent out a crew that dug up all the dead sod that was around there
Uh-huh.
and then took out the tree and replaced the tree. So we had dead grass, then we had like dirt with a couple of patches of green, which was a nightmare. And
Yeah.
then after I think it was pretty close to the beginning of October, they came and put in all our sod, which, if you know in Minnesota, it's starting to snow. And we don't have
Yeah.
time for the sod to find the
To, ma-
ground, get the
to
roots
assert
in,
itself.
get the proper, you know, watering in there so it can, take hold and not die
Yeah.
in this freaking frigid cold winter months. Thank God that it stayed relatively warm for a couple of weeks, that we were able to get through watering and made it through until the spring. Wanted to see what happened. All of it grew back. We had nice green grass for a while, but then we were finding the grass that was neglected that wasn't ripped up with the new sod. There were a ton of weeds, crabgrass, things like that that we had to go in and spray. Didn't take effect right away. We have a lot of just dead grass around simply
Do you
because.
get creeping Charlies up there?
Let me double check what creeping Charlies look like here.
It's what I
Creeping
battle the most with my lawn.
Charlie. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at the creeping Charlie.
Thanks,
Um,
Jamie.
yeah, Jamie, can you pull that up there? Yeah, so we did have some creeping Charlie. It wasn't robust. We had more of what we call crabgrass. Let me see if it has. I don't even know if that's the official name. Yeah, that's what it is. We had more of like the crabgrass around.
Oh,
Um,
that stuff's nasty.
yeah, so and it's really hard. There are certain tools that you can use to like walk around and like poke into it and pull it up, but
Yeah,
the
I have one of those.
yeah, the amount of it was too much for us to do, so we just relied on spraying. Um, our neighbor across the street, he has a one of those riding lawnmowers, the zero turn ones, really nice. But he has an adapting unit on the back that drags and pulls up like dead grass and helps aerate
Ooh, cool.
while circulating that dead grass so we can rake that up. So excited uh, for it to get nicer out here when we're almost ready to start putting the sprinklers back on. Oh, that was another thing. So they right? Oh, this is good because this actually delayed us a little bit. When they came to put in the new grass, they cut our cable line initially when they dug up the grass. And I used to be a cable guy, so I had the tools
Cable guy.
and was able to put a jumper on there and get it up there. Tried to call Comcast to rebury a line. They put in a ticket, and that never happened. So I should probably do that this summer. Um, but yeah, so it's just exposed out there. And then they cut a sprinkler head off. So when we finally did get the grass down, we couldn't water our other grass during this time because every time we turned the sprinkler on, it just blew up everywhere. So we had to wait for the sprinkler guy to come fix that. Then we had to adjust the zone. It was just a nightmare. I mean, I'm
Do you
talking
feel
way
that
too
as an
long.
adult, like there's always something breaking or broken or needs
Mm-hmm.
attention? Like as a 40-year-old dad, I just feel like my job's just never fucking done.
Yeah. No, between homework or excuse me, the home obligations, the family obligations, obviously the career obligations that you try to fit in gaming. You have other things like you're refing. I do coaching. You know, having kids in sports. I mean, you have all of this continuously just eating up all this time. That's why I kind of look forward to these every week. Like these
Yeah, it's kind of like
podcasts
our.
are, yeah, breath of
I
fresh
tell the kids,
air.
can't bother me, but if you want to watch, go to my Twitch. But I'm gonna be gone
Exactly.
for 2 hours.
That's the best way to
We were
do it.
talking about weeds. We were talking about weeds, so I have to mention this. I was really, I think, a good kid growing up. Um, and I had chores like most kids do. All kids should have some chores. But the one thing that I told my mom that I would not do and that she could just ground me is pull weeds.
Mm.
Because the house that we lived on, at the time that there were all these weeds, it was a very expensive, I won't say how much, but it was a stupid big house. And the backyard was like undeveloped because it was a brand new area. And it was just this big dirt backyard and then a huge dirt hill. So she would get it landscaped, like by putting the mulch and stuff down, and then she'd
Hmm.
say, "All right, I want you to go, pull all the weeds." I just say, "Nope, you can ground me. I'm not pulling weeds. It's Colorado. It's summer. It's hot. It's
Hmm.
no. Mm-mm. I'll empty the dishwasher 100 times before I pull 100 weeds."
You know, I think as an adult, it's a little bit easier for us to just kind
Oh
of
yeah,
bite our tongue and just do it. The
yeah.
kids
Well,
are the
we put
same
our
way.
headphones in. We can enjoy it as adults somewhat as
Yeah.
long as the weather is okay. But like when you're 15 years old and you're chasing girls, you don't want to freaking pull weeds all day.
No. No, I mean you should have because that was an easy way to exercise. You
Yeah,
get all
because I need to
sweaty, you got the
exercise
cut
some.
off t-shirts out there. It's like, "Ah, look at me pull some weeds."
When I
Arr."
joined the army at 19 years old, I weighed 148 pounds. 100 and I was a toothpick.
Oh man.
I got my
Well,
first tattoo, which was this little guy right here. It's awful. but I got this tattoo, and then my buddy took a picture of me after it was just freshly done. So I flexed, I'm like, yeah, and he took a picture. I should find that picture because I look like a tiny little twig, like a pale twig with a random ass tattoo that made no sense, and it did not belong here because my arm was so tiny.
Oh my goodness.
How many tattoos do you have? I don't even know that.
I have one tattoo. So kind of a backstory really quick. I grew up in a very religious kind of culture, and
Your body is a temple, kind of thing, right?
well, there's mentions of it like in Leviticus where it's like do not scar your body and don't cover it in tattoos. More or less is what it's interpreting as. But I did get one tattoo, and that is because my dad had passed away when I was young. I was 15 years old when he passed, and my older brother got a well, I mean, that's 22, no, 23, well, no, 20, 22, 22 years ago now, as of like 2 months ago. 22
I
years.
don't even know what it
Who's
feels
counting?
like to lose a parent. That scares me.
It's not good. So anyway, my older brother got a tattoo, and it was our name in Old English, lowercase Old English, on his arm. And I thought, you know what? I felt compelled. I was in college. I said, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get same thing, not just for my dad, but honoring my brother who was deployed in the military at the time as well. He had left. So I was like, I'm going to get a matching tattoo on my arm. And then my little brother ended up getting the same thing, a matching tattoo on his arm. So I only have one tattoo because it, it's more or less I just never had the desire, the drive to do it. Plus, I'm not one that looks great in like sleeveless shirts and stuff to show off my arms. There's some people that can pull it off. Both my older stepboys, they've got sleeves on their arms. You know, I'm not opposed to tattoos at all. Just for me personally, I was like, if I'm gonna put this on there, I need it to be so meaningful to me that
Yeah.
I push away any of my like I don't know, my constructed mindset towards how I feel about tattoos. So, yeah,
So
only one and only.
my left arm is my memorial arm. So this art here, the mushroom and the stars and the puddle of water and the crying drips from the mushroom. Um, about 4 years ago, no, it's 2025. Yeah, 4 years ago or so, my cousin Logan, unfortunately, started drinking way too young.
Hmm.
24 years old, he died from liver failure. He was completely neon yellow. But while he was in the hospital on one of his last days on this planet, he drew this on a napkin in the hospital. So I blew it up and got it tattooed on me. It's
Well,
my
that
favorite
is.
one. And then this one are the names of the soldiers that I lost in Afghanistan.
I
My
remember you
unit,
telling me about that.
yeah, my army crests in the background there. This is my favorite arm. This is the best work on my whole body. This I regret, and I will always regret it because it was such a. I think tribal tattoos were such a fad, and it kind
Hmm.
of just dwindled away, and it just doesn't work for me. But hey, it ain't going anywhere. I ain't gonna have it removed because that shit would fucking suck. I mean,
That's
imagine
yeah.
having all this laser removed on me, dude. It would suck so bad. I'd rather just leave it.
So you said that's your favorite arm. That's your left arm, right?
Yeah, my tribal's on my right arm, and my memorial arm is my left.
Are you left hand dominant?
I am not. I'm right-handed.
Oh, all right. So they have to watch while you're doing your thing late at night. Got it. Okay. Understood.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
I have, before we move on, I have to ask you a question.
Yes.
Are we going to use this podcast to talk about the eco-friendly 1,000-gallon tank
Oh.
Ants Canada? I watched the whole thing.
Isn't it? Did you watch the more recent episode that dropped like a couple days ago?
No, just the playlist that you shared with me, the all
Yep.
seasons,
Up to the
up until the
pufferfish.
yeah.
Okay. They did release one after that as well, just recently.
There's no way he can just like take it all down now. The thing's massive. He's gonna have that forever, I would think.
Kind of. So it actually that newest video goes in depth on how he made choices and design, and what I think is more important from a producer side, from a content creator side, he goes in depth on the struggles of putting together amazing content that he does every week. So he talks about the different cameras, or excuse me, the one camera that he uses, but the different views and his style, and how he starts determining how to write stories about it. And it's really just, what does nature give you for him to actually capture in order for him to tell stories about it? And I think that's something that, we attempt to do in FAM with like our newsletters or spotlights, is we like to tell stories on this podcast. We like to tell stories because those are intriguing to get sort of that human element. With the amount of tools that are out there, most prominently like the chat GPTs or the deep seeks and stuff, information is so readily available. It's not as impactful, powerful as it used to be, where it's like, guess what? You're going to learn something new today and rattle off all these facts, when people are like, yeah, I could have just Googled that, or I could have just asked ChatGPT that. So, what we like to capture is that human element, and in that next episode, he does really dive into that and then talks about the different struggles that he has in building the ecosystem, all that stuff. So, yeah, let's talk about it, because I want to hear more about your perspective, what you've enjoyed about it. Have you found certain things that have been beneficial that you learned from, either just as a curiosity standpoint point or as a content creator?
Well, I'll tell you this: the thing I enjoyed the most, and I think you might even agree with this. So you mentioned human aspects, and like when he is narrating, and then he goes to that wide view of the whole tank, and it's dark, and maybe one of his geckos just died, and he's at the wall with his fist on there, and he's like, no, why did you have it so soon? And then he's just like the darkness of the room and the shadow. He's just a silhouette. Such amazing content, and I didn't think I'd enjoy it as much as I did. I actually watched a couple of them more than once, and I spent a good week having it to watch before bed every night. And I'm really glad you shared that with me. It's very entertaining. I also have more respect for a plan that fails, because when you plan on how something's going to go, but you have animals, insects, and stuff that are your content, you're going to have to adjust, because you never are going to get what you plan.
Mm-hmm.
For example, he puts that big tree stump in this 1,000-gallon. What do we call it? It's not a cage. It's just an aquarium, maybe.
It's just a
But he
glass
puts it.
structure. Yep, he talks
So he
about how
put
he
this.
built custom built all those glass panes to fulfill a 1,000-gallon ecosystem. Or I
So
guess,
the
yeah.
dude plans on putting specific ant colonies in here, specific animals, and just integrating things in slowly and seeing what happens. And what I thought was really interesting is he puts that really big tree trunk with the roots in there. Obviously, a great idea. It looked so good in there, and
Mm-hmm.
it also provides places for animals to hide. But what he didn't plan on is that there were already ant colonies inside the tree
Yep.
trunk. So he went to go put in animals. He's already seeing a spider. Then all of a sudden, there's these black crazy ants is what I think they called it.
Yep, and
And then the ant
cockroaches and
colonies were like they're the ant colonies. What a lot of people don't. I didn't know this. I just learned this from the show. But they have these trails, and they follow these trails
mm-hmm.
to food, to other places where they live. It's essentially like the street you take to go to McDonald's from your house, and you just use that same path every time. So these ants are using these paths, but there's two different ant colonies that are rivals to each other, and their freaking paths are so close. You're just at the edge of your seat waiting for like an all-out ant war.
Mm-hmm.
But man, it was really really fun. Ants Canada. He started his channel in Canada, and then he moved to, was it South Korea, I believe.
He doesn't explicitly say it, but I believe it's the jungles of South Korea.
But think about how easy it would be to like get more critters for your tank, because he could just go outside and he knows he's finding geckos and other lizards outside. He's finding
Mm-hmm.
different kinds of spiders. I did not know that whatever type of spider that was, so the spider's cradling this food, and then the male spider comes to the female spider, and he's like kissing on her and like putting his nectar in her, and he's just like, working hard for the money, and then he uses so much of his energy to impregnate or to fertilize the eggs of this spider that it basically just sits there and lets it die. Like it lets the female eat it,
Yep.
and then the female gets all her energy by eating her partner,
Mm-hmm.
and that is just fucking crazy. And
Yeah.
I think that the praying mantises do the same or a similar thing.
Praying mantis, I believe they bite the head off. The female bites the
Dude,
head off the
nature
male.
is a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Well, that's why humans are still around, is because after we mate, we don't freaking kill our partner, usually.
Usually. Yeah, I think my wife watches enough documentaries that that's not entirely true. They do kill
Yeah, I
each
mean, there's
other
a
a
small
lot.
percentage where maybe there's a murder after that, maybe.
Oh
But
man.
yeah, I want to say thank you for finding such awesome content to share with us, because I thoroughly enjoyed it. I believe
Hmm.
that anyone that likes nature, animals, insects, seeing how they mate, how they thrive and find food and scavenge, and it's just so freaking cool. And I love how it's just step by step, little bit at a time.
Yep.
You're not overwhelmed by the content.
Hmm.
Every episode is decently small, but when you put them all together, it's obviously much crazier. But yeah,
Yeah.
man, after about a week, I basically just I couldn't get enough of it.
Yeah, it's very fun for the kids too. I mean, it's enjoyable for us as adults, and also, I mean, you can see your aquarium over on that image on that side. You can see his aquarium in the back there. And as somebody that has taken responsibility to raise critters, creatures, animals, we take a lot of pride in wanting to keep them alive. And when there's somebody that is a biologist that studies this, that's just he's so tuned in that sometimes you're like, oh my God, how would anybody even think of that? He talks about the nutrients in the soil. He talks about the plants and the purpose of them. Like everything, aside from what wasn't purposely introduced in that environment, everything has a purpose in a design for being involved in there. It's just so well done, and it's things that we as enthusiasts for raising these critters, creatures, animals can learn from, because then we can start thinking about yeah, it's kind of funny. You think outside the box of what's going inside the box, and you start
Yeah.
taking mental notes about, oh yeah, I've got to keep this in consideration. I've maybe got to more investigate or research, what's compatible, because you were talking about the different ant colonies that were being introduced. Some are a little bit more vicious than others. There's a whole episode dedicated to ant wars, which was super fun, where they do
Oh, I'm
fight.
watching that one. I'll watch that tonight.
They do fight, and it's fun to watch. And you would always think these giant bruisers would win, but you get a bunch of really fiery ants that are, well, I guess there's fire ants, but you get these like really excited ants, and you know, it's just, it's crazy. I didn't think I would be that into it. It was more or less going to be just kind of a mind numb experience. And that's what I'm going to kind of share with you after this is some of the other programs that I've kind of been diving into recently that have been taking my interest away from that channel. But now I'm a weekly regular, very similar to
Yeah.
like Kill Tony. When I discovered Kill Tony on YouTube, I started watching Kill Tony every Monday. When this content gets released, I get the notification, new videos out. I look forward to actually watching it because you know it's educational, it's entertaining, and I do feel like I can get some value from it in some aspect of my life, which is super intelligent in its design and very well done. So proper kudos to that channel. We're hoping that we can also create engaging content through our discussions as well, and not just talk about the best of everybody else's, but you know, credit where credit's due, definitely.
Yeah, I think my favorite scene of the whole playlist was he was showing one of the trails of the ant colonies. I think it was the black crazy ants, and he's like, "Oh, and there's their queen. Oh, and there's another queen,
Mm-hmm.
and there's another queen." There was like four queens.
Mm-hmm.
They were uprooting their where they were living, and they were going to like into that tree to like basically kick that other ant colony out. I didn't know that there's more than one queen in any ant colony. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Like that one had like 4 or 5 queens.
they tend to fight, but oh, this is so cool. I updated my marbles recently, and oh, boo! It was showing our pictures up there while we were talking. I'm gonna go ahead and
Oh,
get this race up so we can exclamation point play, so we can get one of our giveaways underway,
it,
and we'll keep
the
chatting while we're hanging out here.
yeah, the playlist really goes to show you why the agriculture people at the airports, like at the borders,
See,
don't let
there it
like
is.
all those plants and foods in because those insects really do get in there, and you can't even tell until it's too late. With
Is
all the moss, like he put all that moss on the wall, the moss, the tree trunk, but like when he would add all the different plants,
mhm.
moss and stuff, he was unwillingly adding a whole bunch of other creatures into the mix that he did not plan for. But I think that he bounced back really well and took care of business without everything falling apart.
Yeah. Yep, and we also don't see what's happening off the screen too. I mean, there could be invaders that he's talking to other biologists about, or you know, through his own research, and is like, no, I gotta get rid of these. I gotta get rid of these as soon as possible. All right, we're open. Exclamation point play. Man, this one looks crazy. We're gonna be going through the talk about going through an ecosystem.
Dude, it looks like rust. Like if when you look up at the horizon, it just looks like rust. Like the video game.
Oh my goodness. Wow, this one looks so sweet. Man, marbles are so fun. Exclamation point play. We'll get a giveaway going here very shortly. We'll just keep chatting away while we get people filled up in here. Um,
I finished another TV show that you have to try out.
what's that?
Have you ever heard of Severance?
Dude, okay. First season, absolutely amazing. Second season, I think I had my expectations up here, and it hit me with, I mean, a little bit down here, a little bit here, a little bit here, and then back down here. Like by the time I got to the season finale of season two, for one, you know, without giving spoilers, I'm like, the fuck?
I didn't like the ending. I
What
can
are
tell
you
you that.
doing? What are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? So,
They're dragging it out so they can have a third season. It's already been
correct,
announced.
correct.
That's why.
That's exactly
And
it.
the writer already said that the show might not be anything like it has been. Like it might go in a completely different direction that wouldn't even feel like Severance. So I'm a little scared.
Yeah.
but it was worth watching. The first season was so good, like
So good.
you have to push through the second one. Second season was good, but it just wasn't up to the first season's credibility.
Correct.
But I would tell everyone that has Apple TV to check it out. It is the #1 show on Apple TV, so
Yeah.
give it a look. Severance. Essentially, the idea is that you're putting a chip in your brain, almost like Neuralink, except for it blocks all of your thoughts when you're at work. So when you're at work, you're almost a different person. You kind of are a different person. You're in the
I
same
think that's
body.
what it is. Yep.
Yeah, you don't know anything from your at home outside of work life. You don't know if you're married. You don't know if you have kids. You don't know if you forgot to mow the lawn. Like, you don't know anything. But when you're at home, you have literally no idea what you do at work. So, cool concept. Love the idea. I'm going to give third season a chance. But that first season was mind blowing.
Man, just had a little sneeze fit there. Apple has some pretty phenomenal shows. I decided to give C another try after we talked about it. We
I
did
watched
get
the
through.
first season. I need to watch the second.
We got through the first. I mean, there's 5 seasons, right? So
Okay, I need to watch 4 seasons then, because
yeah,
I only watched the first in its entirety.
yep. I actually, by the time we got through the first season, I'm like, you know what? This is actually a pretty good show, and the wife really loved it too. And when I came over to do some like fam stuff and come support our streamers, she just kept watching. Like she loves it. It's a good show for us to actually get back to because we were kind of running out of good shows to watch. Another kind of like another one from Apple that I've really been enjoying recently is Mythic Quest. I didn't think I would like it at first, but I'm
I haven't
actually,
started, but I know of it.
yeah, that's another one where it's got a few seasons with it. It's the uh, gentleman who created Always Sunny in Philadelphia, so there's just really good, sharp, dumb humor that's involved. And
Yeah,
what's really funny, it translates to what's happening in our environment with
yeah,
FAM
it
and
does
streaming and
translate.
Web3. They're
Yeah,
creating games, they're streaming these games, they're LARPing in the office, they're having a great time, and it's just talking about all the different dramas that's happening and behind the scenes stuff that you don't think about or notice just being strictly a gamer. It's the drama that ensues is very entertaining. It's kind of my lunchtime show. So while I'm working and I take my lunch break, I like to hop over and just get an episode in. So I've enjoyed that
I
one.
still, I still need to finish Letterkenny.
Do you need to though? I mean, those are independent episodes. Like
Yeah, they really are. They
they
really
feel
are.
like you could
But
just watch any of them and really just laugh your ass
Letterkenny's
off.
pretty funny. Like, if you're depressed, if you're going through a bad time in your life, just watch a couple episodes of Letterkenny.
What is Diamond Hands talking about? Have you guys seen that $6.8 million transaction that was posted with a message on the Ethereum blockchain? It's kind of like that show, but scarier. Are you talking about like Severance?
I think that someone did an actual Ethereum transaction worth that much. Oh, he just put a link to it.
All right, I'm gonna trust your link here. All right, I got it up on the screen. Chinese Ethereum holders spent 6.8 million to warn against mass mind control. They were using mind control technology. Jamie, can we get a can we validate this article? Can we go ahead and check that out, Jamie? Now, I trust Diamond Hands on this. We're gonna take another quick look because this sounds super intriguing. Brain computer weapons? What? Oh shit, man. I think we're gonna have to read this article, get caught up with this, and then we'll have to circle back and talk about it during our next podcast.
Imagine being so rich, you just like, I'm going to spend $6.8 million to send a message to them.
It's happening in China right now. Well, it's happening everywhere. I mean, you talk about manipulation that's happening on mainstream media and the influence it has on getting people to really just buy in whether it's the far right or the far left. Like,
I will not talk about politics today. I will not talk about politics today. I will not talk about politics today.
so let me talk to you about what I've been diving into recently. There's a gentleman by the name of, his first name is Charlie. I think it's like Charlie Kirk, if I remember right. Charlie Kirk. He
Bring that
is.
up, Jamie.
Yeah, Jamie, can you go ahead and bring that up for me? All right, thanks. I wonder if we would get hit with a copyright if like that's like
No.
some trademark. Can't call for
Oh, I know
Jamie.
him. He's the dude that goes to the colleges and tries to debate kids.
Correct, correct. A very sound individual. Don't agree with everything that he says, but
Yeah.
he at least comes with such strong arguments that are vetted in actual things that are happening, whether it's court cases or whether it's trends in political decisions or actual decision outcomes. What I like is he takes away from the perspective aspect and more focuses on um, the well, again, talking about purpose-driven stuff. He focuses on the purpose-driven decisions that are made in politics, and I really like that, taking away more of the emotion and putting more of the fact-based arguments that are out there. Um, what I truly think detaches from reality when he's given his discussions is that human emotion is just as important as the political side of decisions that are being made. Um, you can't discredit, regardless whether you disagree with it, you can't discredit people's passion. And for right, wrong, or indifferent, it's finding that way of communicating with people that don't see past their own shadow or outside their own bubble. I think he does a really good job trying to penetrate that, but yeah, I do feel like he does lack human emotion sometimes, but otherwise, like, just really love a lot of the different discussions at the different colleges. So I've got family members that are gay. I've got family members that are trans. I've got family, I've got friends that are falling into those categories. We've got people involved in our community, whether they're open about it or not open about it. We've got people in our community that also fall into those categories, and they're amazing individuals. So
I have a brother that's now my sister, so I feel that.
it is whatever it is. Me personally, I can't wrap my head around the disassociation, but it's not for me to care or to do. It's what is happening in my world as well, my sphere, in really a lot of the decisions I make, whether it's political or not political, I make for the better good of what's happening in my family and in my bubble. Because I'm not a political figure, I'm not having influence, and I'm not involved in politics. So I'm gonna rub people the wrong way when I say certain things or act a certain way, but it's just that's the identity that I've chosen. And as long as I am pure in my thoughts of doing what I believe is best for my family, not always best for me, but what's best for collectively the human race. If I'm thinking about that in making my construction of responses or how I vote or how I take certain actions, as long as I have those pure thoughts, I feel pretty confident that I'm not in the wrong, even if I'm wrong. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I one thing for me with politics and media right now that I think is pretty eye-opening is like if I talk to my grandparents about politics or like ask them their input on stuff, it's kind of crazy that the way that they think about our current situations and the ways that I think about our current situations is completely polar opposite because they watch different news channels than I do.
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's crazy to think about that we're living at the exact same time, but we have completely different ideas of what's going on right now.
Yeah. Yep. And
It's actually
it's
kind of exhausting because you're like, Grandpa, that is not something you have to worry about right now. What are you watching?
yeah. So I like to get all of it, right? Because if you stick in one lane, if you watch just one news source, or even online, there's multiple different like personalities, different politicians that you can watch directly in their own type of podcasts or their own type of worlds. And if that's the only lane you live in, it can be you could be doing yourself a disservice by not being more open and compassionate to what's happening in the world around you, in the actual conversations that are very meaningful will be so blinded in one eye that you're sometimes it's sad watching some of these debates and watching some of these people online that argue because they've shown up with one hand tied behind their back, and that's the other perspective. They're only going with their strong arm, their non-memorial arm. They're going in there and they're trying to fight, and they're just getting destroyed. And that's on all aspects of politics. Doesn't
There's
matter
so many
where you
movie
shake
quotes that just rush through my mind. Grab my strong hand, or
up. This
lift
my
me up
strong.
with your strong arms. Just coming. Oh my
Oh
god, I
my
love it.
God. All right,
We need
let's
a
get
fake
off
hand.
of politics. F
We need a
politics.
fake hand though.
Hold on, hold
Yes.
on. Let's take a look at that dinosaur claw of yours again. Looked like a rep or a raptor for a moment. Like, "Arr." All right, all right. We're going to the giveaway. We're going to the
Okay.
giveaway. We've got 6 people in, but we've got like 17 people watching. Make sure you smash that exclamation point play. I do got to invest in this a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and get myself a couple more colored balls.
Wickford, let me lift you up with my strong arm.
It's my
Strong hand.
strong hand. Alright. Man, this place looks cool as hell.
You know
Alright.
what I like to do, Billion?
What up?
I just like to stuff the shit out of it. I could probably quote that entire fucking movie. When I was like 16, 17 years old, I watched it every night. There were 3 movies on repeat for me. It was Zoolander, Scary Movie 2, and South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. I went all through those 3 movies every single night for like a year.
Oh my goodness. So bigger, stronger, uncut. South Park. I was at a. Alright, I'm gonna come back over here. I was at a retreat for my church camp, and we were staying at this hotel, I don't know, away from parents. And they had a Target, I want to say. I think it was a Target that was within like a mile. So we all left the hotel and we wanted to go get a DVD. And we wanted South Park. And none
Yeah.
of us were 18 at the time. So so we all went and attempted to buy it with the anticipation that if only one person gets it, then we're all putting it back. And if 2 people happen to be going through the line and one gets it and 2 people end up getting through, we would just return one of them. So we wanted that movie so bad.
It's so
So
good. It really is good. I think I know every single one of the songs. I think I could sing every song in that movie.
Ooh, do we want to do Kyle's Mom's a Bitch after this one?
That's so good, dude. It's my favorite one.
Oh my God.
Oh
All right,
my
we're gonna
god.
do the marbles race. We're starting here. Final
Plain
chance to get in.
Canada,
We got
plain
17 people,
Canada.
but 7 people entered in. It's $5 USDC. I don't care what anybody says. If anybody hands you a $5 bill, you aren't turning it down. So let's go ahead and get started. Do, do, do,
I
do,
tell
do,
Wick good
do.
luck, but he doesn't need it.
Oh, Wick's probably winning it for sure. Yeah, see how it's actually showing our names now and showing our images down here? Like, it didn't do that before. I like it. Sold the cat with the early lead, but Medieval's flying past. Oh my goodness. Medieval.
This brings me back to my announcer days from when I was a teen.
So Medieval has some, I don't know if it's investment or time or what involved in this, but that dude said he was designing maps and getting all these points and all these balls. And hey, there's Wick.
Ooh, I love balls.
Yeah. That's a person that if you have any questions about marbles, then Medieval Fire would be the guy that I would talk to. Can I just click on somebody and go to him? I'm sick of looking at diamond hands. Oh, hey, there's me. Oh my goodness. We are flowing through. It's just a pretty map, you know? We were talking about Ants Canada. We were talking about the ant trails. It's like we're in our own ant trail right here. God, Medieval. I don't even have custom balls. He's so in with the community that he just gets his own ball. Crazy, crazy. Squad fam.
So is he in first?
I believe so. I don't think there's anybody even close to him. Let's see.
Sometimes it's really hard to tell what's actually going on.
I guess we're all kind of in here. Oh my goodness. I'm going to give us all, whatever you call it, motion sickness. Yeah, Medieval's
Vertigo.
flying through. If you have epilepsy and your screen is
I think I
flashing.
just keep getting knocked back up on that frickin' disc.
I wonder if there's like a hotkey that can highlight everybody that's in here. Boy Hustler's behind. Diamond Hands is trying to make his way through. Medieval's holding strong. Uh-oh, here's a chance he can get flipped off the map, though. If he's on one when it goes up. Oh, I thought he was gone. Oh, what's going on? Boy Hustler. Oh, the late lead. Here he goes. What a drop. Wow. Medieval's on his tail.
Are you sure you're not controlling your marble, Boy Hustler?
How did he make it through that screwdriver? Well, we've got a winner. Boy Hustler.
You've become a man now.
Oh, snap, crackle, and pop.
We got last place, you and me, Billion.
Well, of course we do. Of course we do. Oh my goodness. All right, we can get off that screen. Boy Hustler, you know what to do. Actually, maybe you don't. You are already in the FAM Discord. So FAM Discord has been that requirement has been already satisfied.
Now
the other
all you
thing,
have to do is send him a picture of your feet, and then he'll send you what you won.
I mean, if that's only going to cost $5 USDC, that's a huge bargain for how much I usually pay. So, all right, that works.
I love you.
Go ahead and reach out in Discord. Let me know your Avac. I like Avalanche. I want to use Avalanche more. I think that's one of my favorite chains.
I transferred out $2,500 today with Avalanche C. It worked beautifully.
Mm-hmm. Very reliable, very quick. That is my chain of choice. Adios, Soul of the Cat. Thank you for stopping by. Really appreciate you hanging out with us. So, Boy Hustler, hit me up in Discord. Send me your Avac chain USDC address. I'll get that sent over to you. All right. So I was saying that I was talking about that Charlie Kirk guy. I was watching some of his clips, and on a completely opposite side of the spectrum, I was watching a lot of Harry Mack videos recently. I've been watching him for years, but I just got back into it. Are you familiar with who Harry Mack is?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna put his name into the chat for those that want to look it up while we're chatting here. But he is a professional freestyle rapper, and he is phenomenal. His
So like,
workflow. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
so if you were to put him against Eminem at 8 Mile, is it close?
I think he destroys. I think he is the best freestyle rapper that has ever
Wow.
existed.
That
He's
is some
that
high
good.
praise, brother. That is
He's
high praise.
that good. If I wasn't so worried about copyright on these podcasts, I would go ahead and play one of his. But man, I like I said, I maybe it wouldn't get hit with a copyright. Uh, you and I will
So
we'll
after the
jam out on
podcast
one at
is
the
over,
end.
I can teach you after the podcast is over too how to avoid all copyright strikes.
Perfect, perfect. Because I do make them live on Twitch because I have a lot more viewers after these podcasts get published on Twitch than I ever expected. I thought putting them on YouTube, but I mean, our guild primarily lives on Twitch, and people that are seeking out my profile on Twitch are on Twitch. They're not on YouTube searching if I happen to have content there too. So, um, yeah, you and I will chat after this and see how we can get that to work. Cause I really wish I could play one of his clips because it's so good. Um, but here's kind of just the premise. He likes to go on the app. I don't. I think it's back. I think they had a, an issue where they shut the site down for a while, but it's called Omegle, where it's
Oh,
just
I've heard of that.
random anonymous chats.
Omegle. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So what he does is he joins like he's just going through and people that are willing, he asks them, "Hey, can I do a freestyle rap for you?"
Now I know who it is. Now I know who it is because back when I did have TikTok, I would see those every now and then. So he would just show up on someone's screen and they'd be like, "Hey, what's up?" And then he'd be like, give me three random words, and then
Mm-hmm.
he'll do like a whole rap on three words being like the pillars of the song. So
Correct.
yeah, no,
And then
you're right. He's
he talks
very
about
good.
like the things that are he can see on camera. So what you're wearing, stuff on your wall. Like he may rap about your setup back there and be like, exotic and start rapping about exotic if that wasn't one of the three words. But I guarantee you, if you hopped on a call with him, be like,
Yeah.
give me three words. Exotic,
I
billion,
wonder if do you think
billion
maybe
again.
he's using some AI, or do you think he's just really talented?
I think he's super talented. There are wordsmiths out there. Like it's not too far off from conversationalists, like I would call you and I, where we're comfortable enough that we can switch from one topic to another and just start connecting data points. And what he does that in song form. And while he's looking for a word, he's going, I have this whole library of different things that can lead up to this word. Because he's already gone through it, I can't even imagine, probably a billion times, of different setups. Because there's only so many different ways you can articulate words. Like just exotic, uh, methodic. There's all sorts of words that he would just be like, okay, these are words that can go. Here's how I can break this flow up, and then eventually lead to that pillar. And I think you and I do that to an extent when it comes to conversations and different interests that we have and different topics that we have. It's all about the passion, man. Are you passionate about it? Do you love doing it? He loves words. I watched an interview with Rainn Wilson in Harry Mack, and he read Rainn Wilson's book, and he said, there were some words that I had to box and highlight and then go and find out the definitions because I hadn't heard of them before, different slang terms or different just very hard, difficult words in the English language that wouldn't be said in more of like a normal conversation. So,
Well, there was
yeah.
a video that I saw of Eminem recently where, and I think it's an old video, but I recently saw it where he talks about rhyming and how like some words like the word orange, and someone's maybe seen this video before, but he talks about orange. There's like really not much that you can rhyme with orange, but if you say orange differently, then you can, and then you can do setups for that word. So like you normally say orange, but if you say orange, you can rhyme it with other words. And I don't know what words that he came up with, but it's they really have a craft, bro, and they're good at what they do. And it goes to show you that if you do this, if you're passionate about whatever, you can really, really do some amazing, phenomenal things.
Yeah, and I've watched similar ones. He talks about how articulating certain um, what would you call it? Yeah, we talk about how good wordsmiths we are, but there's times where we enunciations of certain words. So he talks about the
Yeah,
different enunciations and how he can use the flow of enunciations to actually rhyme words that do not necessarily rhyme, just in the
yeah, Diamond Hands
emphasis
hit
of
the
an
nail on the head.
enunciation.
He's obviously seen the video before because I remember he does say door hinge to rhyme with orange. Ever listened to Godzilla from Eminem? Yes, I have.
Yeah. Yep. It's really good. I'm getting this crypto sent off really quick to our boy Hustler. I do not like making people wait if I don't have to. 'Cause $5,
How come
believe it or not,
uh,
can get you a lot,
Solana
man.
still not in open loot? Like, what's up with that?
I think you can still send if you have your address. Like I have my address saved from where I send from, and I can still send Solana, and I do that sometimes when I don't pull up
Oh,
my Ava C chain, and it takes still 5 to 10 minutes. It's not under a minute like you would with Ava C or something like that. All right, that should
gotcha.
be sent off on the way. All right, we're going to be doing another giveaway coming up here shortly. Let's go ahead and see if Medieval was able to throw out any suggestions. Not yet. All right. Well, he's looking that up. I do want to transition to the final thing that I've been immersing myself in, and that's AI robots. We've talked about it last week. I kind of reference AI in pretty much everything that we do because I think it'll be fun to do a segment coming up where you and I actually get to use some of the tools that I use in the AI, and let's see what we can just develop on a stream together. Like maybe there's something cool that we hoped we could accomplish, externally outside of a game that maybe even benefits in the game, or maybe it's something that benefits us as content creators or streamers or podcasters. We can talk about what options, opportunities, and let our minds just kind of run and use these tools. You, sir, in the back.
Yeah, thank you. Miss Billion, I would like to do an episode where we make some kind of really cool AI art and then we do a one of one print giveaway and send it to somebody. That'd be cool.
Get it minted and sent off. All right.
That'd be
Uh,
fun. Like we really just like take some time to make a perfect image of what we think is really cool that day and then we do a giveaway for it. That'd be neat.
you know what's really nice about AI though is it doesn't take that long. Like we could probably accomplish something stellar and amazing in like 10 to 15 minutes.
Well, sometimes you have an idea in your head of how you want something to look, and sometimes the AI is just not jiving with your brain. So
Hmm.
sometimes you have to like do it over a few times. Like when I was making play mats with my wife for Exotic MTG, there were times where we had where it would take a really long time to get it exactly the way we envisioned it. But you're right. Sometimes you can also make something from your brain and it's completely not what you were thinking of, and then you liked it more. So
Yeah.
It could go both ways.
Yep. Had an interesting conversation. It's for some reason every other weekend or every couple of weekends I have a birthday party to go to with my son, and I get to chatting with parents and got to chatting with one of my actual childhood buddies, and our kids were out playing.
And
And
you wear your shirt that says "I love MILFs," right? I know. I seen a 12-year-old kid at the Chinese buffet a couple days ago and said, "I love hot MILFs."
oh my God. I
Sorry,
don't.
continue. I just envisioned you with that shirt on, talking to a bunch of moms.
Well, Wick's saying check out some of Justina Valentine's freestyles. I don't know who that is. For a throwback to Harry Mack, off the tip of my dome, I don't know Justina Valentine. But I did happen to stumble across a Korean rapper. I think she was Korean. Korean or Japanese. Well, no, I think she was Korean. Where she was doing some freestyle raps that were freaking phenomenal. They were so good. Oh, Medieval is saying yes. Check it out. All right. All right. I'll put that on my list to check out after this. So AI robots is my other. Like I look into a lot of AI. What are the new tools that are coming out that can develop like applications? What are tools that are coming out to better improve my writing style? What are tools that are coming out for capturing different data sources for maybe news to bring to my attention that is worth checking out from credible sources? Um, and building automations around there. Like I do dive into that some, but the AI robots is something that I feel like is going to be a significant, absolutely significant.
Won't
What
cost
would you
be an issue for families though? Like, I feel like cost would be like
imagine
not
this?
everyone can get one.
Imagine this. So, what goes into a cost of a robot? Just if we were like, okay, we're the manufacturers, we're gonna create this robot. It's gonna be exotic billy goats robots, and and you and I are heading it up. We don't necessarily have to be the ones that are doing all the programming and stuff. We can just assume we have a team that's going to be accomplishing all this. We think about the material costs. You've got
Yeah, so there's the hardware, there's all the metal, the wiring, and everything, and then there's
correct.
gonna be software.
Okay,
There's gonna
so
be
hardware is one. That would be almost a reoccurring cost, correct? Because software,
mhm.
you can develop it, and then you basically just hire pilots and innovators to improve upon that. So the software is more or less one-time investment, and then over your initial sales could likely make up for that cost. Materials, that's going to be a reoccurring cost. How about labor? Labor is going to be a cost to it. It's probably going to be at least the first iterations are going to be taking a long time to develop. A lot of R&D testing in different environments. Correct. I agree with you. There is a lot of upfront costs. Right now, companies can purchase robots for their manufacturing plants for I believe around 18,000 per robot. I
And people
mean,
don't even want to buy a $3,000 warranty on their new car that they buy.
correct,
So
correct. But let's fast forward after these robots start getting rolled out. What do you have creating the robots? Eventually, you have robots creating robots. And
and that's going to
eventually,
get to the point of when we were talking about last week, where we're going to start losing certain jobs. People are going to have to go into different
hmm
careers because the whole talk about robots, building robots. That's once we get to that point, we're gonna really we're either gonna be living free or we're gonna be in a bad way, in my
yep.
opinion.
So we had talked about that cost of labor will be virtually zero at some point, because you're not going to have to pay that robot to work on the line. You don't have to accommodate for bathroom breaks, lunch breaks. They don't have to rely on a schedule. They can go 24/7 without taking a break. Uh, then they can also do the bug testing eventually. There could be AI robots that are programmed to test for, certain checklists that are going through and re-implementing code through commands based on the results of those checklists. So you're going to have robots that are eventually creating robots that are maintained by robots that's overseen by a pilot, an overall like floor manager that's ensuring like things that have not
Yeah.
been programmed to overcome like certain obstacles. For example, Mother Nature. Maybe there's a flood that impacts a plant. How will these robots respond? A floor manager would be able to be on site to account for things that haven't been accounted for or programmed into these robots yet. So, so right out of the gate, they're already saying there's a price tag of manufacturing robots of 18,000. Now, if you get robots that can create these robots, that cost is only going to go down. We think about personal computers and how
Yeah, I was just gonna
expensive
bring
they
that up.
were.
Like when computers first came out,
Hmm.
they were bigger than a fucking house. And then they had, it took some time to where they were refining and perfecting and making it smaller.
Yep.
Um, Fun fact, my grandpa to this day has all of his computers he ever bought. So his basement has like those old school Apple ones with the huge fucking keyboard, the floppy disk drive, play freaking not Galaga, but it was like an early Galaga where you have the little plane on the bottom and you have the little teeny joystick with the little red button on top. But yeah, computers is a good example throughout the process because the way the computer started, it was just you weren't gonna have a computer in your house when they first came out. They were more for like industrial shit and for companies. Um, hell, the internet didn't get invented to how many years after until after the computer came out? Like at least a decade, I would assume, right? I think about a decade and a half, maybe.
I missed that first part. I'm so sorry. Got totally sidetracked for a quick moment. So your grandfather was working in this industry, and he
No,
was,
he's just always been a computer nerd ever
oh,
since
computer
home.
enthusiast. Got it.
Yeah, just ever since personal computers were a thing.
Yep.
He's actually kept them through the years. So you can see like the first one he has is freaking huge, and he even has one of those Apple ones that like is see through where they're different colors. Do you remember those ones?
Oh yeah, almost all schools had them. That's where I spent a majority of my time learning how to program, is on those style machines back when I was in elementary school, because I was a nerd. I got involved in stock markets when I was in like fifth grade. I was writing, like I was the top of my school in keyboarding, um, back in
I
like
was
third or
too.
fourth grade.
Let's go.
Yeah, like computers were, I was obsessed with computers. And as soon as it became reasonable to purchase a home computer, my father did, and that completely changed my life because I was all in. Like I started
Do you
playing,
remember the brand of your first computer?
ooh, it was I want to say a Hewlett Packard machine. It was a
Ours was an 8-bit.
Windows. I had Windows 95 on it, and then we upgraded it to Windows 98. Got it in 96, and then upgraded it to
I was
Windows
actually the
98.
person that convinced my mom to get AOL. And then she's like, "Well, why do I need this internet?" And I then explained to her gaming and that me and my buddy James could dial in together and play StarCraft together and Star Wars
Mm.
Rebellion and finally convinced her. I actually went to Applebee's with my mom and my best friend James when we were like 12 and explained the internet to my mom, who then agreed to finally get it. And now, how many years later? Fuck, a lot years later, my mom to this fucking day has her AOL email.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. AOL is actually where I started having a conversation and eventually dated my first girlfriend through through a chat that a buddy of mine had open, and she was from a different school. I would have never met her in my life, but I went on
Right.
his computer because he stepped into another room, and I do what I do. I start messaging everybody that's online as him and start messing with every single person. And I got to this one profile, and I was like, "Oh, that's a interesting username. I think it's a lady." So then I was like, I don't even know what I said. I probably said something like, "What's up, sweet cheeks?" or something ridiculous on there. But
Oh my god.
she's like, she said my buddy's name. She's like, "Is that you?" I said, "It depends. If it is him, do we keep talking? Because if it's not, I am totally not him, and I will introduce myself." She goes, "I'm uncomfortable with this conversation. I think I need to go." And I'm like, "Hold on, hold on. It's my buddy's computer." I introduced myself, and then all of a sudden we just started chatting, and I gave her my AOL name. And then I left his house, and he's like, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "I had a girl I gotta talk to."
Oh man.
So I went,
Well, and I've got a dream.
and where we lived was out in the middle of nowhere. So I went outside and hopped on my four-wheeler and drove it home. And then I went down to my computer and then hopped on and was like, "You up?"
I gotta ask you a question. Now that we're on the subject, I gotta ask you a question. Were
Oh
you ever
man.
so nerdy with AOL that you would go into role-playing chat rooms and type something like Lionel Gustavo enters the bar with one eye fixed on a bartender and the other eye fixed on the lovely lady with red hair. And then you would role play, like pretending like you were this person you were not, and you were in this bar that didn't exist. And then you would meet people, and then you would take it from the chat room to the DM.
I did not do it through AOL, but I did do it through some of the early, almost like Reddit-esque type things. I think, oh God, what was it? Vines, I think, was one of them that they had not.
What was the one with the green? It was a flower. There were green leaves on it.
I think that was Vine, wasn't it?
Was it?
I think it was Vine. Jamie, can you look that up? Jamie, go ahead and yeah, pull that up, Jamie. There it is. Yeah, I
I
think
used to frequent Yahoo chat rooms too.
yeah. So it had videos and stuff, but it had like chat boards that you could chat on as well. And um,
Vine was like the first TikTok.
yes, very much so. Vine was like the first TikTok, and there were certain ones that we would hop in and we would role play, be different people, especially around like the gaming ones. And then there were some, oh God, what would they have been called? I can't even think of what the name of it would have been called, but there were like chat rooms that you could join, um, that were like mutually exclusive to gamers, and we would have a ton of role playing in there because we would role play our characters from Warcraft, from Starcraft. Um,
Until your mom picked up the phone.
oh man, was that
And
a
then she's yelling,
interesting time?
"Get off the computer!"
Oh
Oh my
God,
god.
and if you remember from BattleNet, they called you out on that without, they had the little like green bars next to the connection when you would join games, and if it
I
lagged
remember
at
Battle.net.
all, if you didn't have all the green bars, you were kicked out right away. You were like, I don't know. You were looked at like a pariah if you weren't running 56K with everybody else, because how in the world can you keep up? So, yeah, I've
I
figured
gotta
out
tell you something.
ways to get around that.
So back in this time frame that we're talking about right now, I was at a buddy's house his dad and mom recently got divorced. We were going to his dad's house I had never been there before. He had just moved in, and we got in there, and it was like a shrine. This computer and the desk and the keyboard and the mouse, and we're just like, "Hey, does he have any games?" And, and so we go over there, and we're just checking out like websites and just like seeing how it works. This was like my first. This was before I convinced my mom about AOL, right? And I remember talking to his dad about this like it was yesterday. He said, and I quote, "There will be a time in the future where computers get so fast that the websites will load instantly, and if they don't, it'll still feel like it's instant because it'll be a fraction of a second." And then we're like, "Whoa, cool!" Because back then, you'd go to a website, Geico.com, whatever, and it would load the top, and then it would trickle down, right, and the page would slowly start showing up. And he was like, "Yeah, one day you'll go to that website, and it's just it'll be there." And we didn't think that there would ever be a day where that happened. That was before gigabytes were readily available for storage. We would have to delete Red Alert to download StarCraft.
hmm
Like, our computers couldn't hold more than just a couple of games back then.
Yeah, yep.
But
You
yeah,
always had to have the disc and put it in. You'd have to switch from regular StarCraft to Brood War, and then they had this
disc one,
deluxe
disc two, disc
version.
three. You'd go to the video game store in the PC area, and the boxes were super thick because there were
hmm
so many discs. There's the installation disc 1 and 2, and then the play disc. God damn, man, it has been a wild ride to get to where we are today.
Right, right. And what was being used as computers were being used to improve computers. Now,
Hmm.
robots are being used to create robots. Like a lot of a lot of things in medical science we take for granted. But look at like the engineering in more or less just robot that's an MRI machine. Like, have you seen one of those operate without like the casing around it? Have you seen the
I have
inner
not.
workings of how it's scary, man. It really brings to light why they keep telling you do not bring anything metal in there at all because of just the sheer fear of having a conductor in there while it's spinning at that violent of a rate. It's scary, man. But that's not the only like thing that's a robot that's existing in our medical field. There are surgeons that use certain tools.
Yeah, like do you ever watch like My 600 Pound Life or Too Large? The I don't know what the term is called, but when they cut the stomach basically in half or whatever, and then they sew it back on, and they have a robot. They incision like 6 incisions, and they have this like spider looking robot. They hover it over the patient, and then they put those like metal rods in the holes that they just made, and then they control the robot with like a joystick, two different joysticks, and then they do the surgery. The actual surgery is done by the robot arms being controlled by the doctor.
hmm Yeah, it's
Wild.
crazy in the
And take it from
precision.
someone who's worked in a hospital, technology actually moves too fast for hospitals because um, I would like go into a room that was used as storage and it's just full of old technology. But when I say old, it was maybe only a couple years old. The speed at which we get new medical devices
Yeah.
is insane. Plus,
hmm
my wife's the technical writer for a company that makes medical devices, so I see it firsthand how quickly she's developing new. Um, I don't want to say owner's manual, but all these machines come with the warning stickers and labels, and then the manual and everything. Every time that they make a new device, they have to do all this new technical writing,
Yeah.
but it happens so incredibly fast, and it makes you wonder how much money do we waste by getting every generation of MRI machine. Like it's almost seems smart to skip some generations because of how fast this stuff's flowing through the medical field.
Well, do you remember when different OS versions were coming out on computers and we were skipping like ME, Windows Home, we were like we're Windows XP or die, There's nothing
Yeah.
that's going to be better than Windows XP. and then a new version came out, and then a new version, then another,
I
and it
hated,
was just
I hated how we had to like go to Best Buy and then buy the next Windows.
that was so dumb.
Like going
So
from 95 to 98, and then you have to go
yep.
to the store, you have to buy it, you got to install it.
Hmm.
All that sucked.
In
I'm
my
on Windows 10. I can't figure out how to get my device to get to Windows 11. Every time I click on update, it just goes through like a cycle to restarts my computer. I can't even get Windows 11. So
hmm.
someday you're not busy and you want to help me out, fucking troubleshoot that. I would love your help because until I get Windows 11, I cannot configure my camera. So like right now, I look super ghosty, right? And you look perfectly colored. I cannot,
Oh,
unless I'm in
thank you.
OBS, I cannot change the zoom. I can't change the exposure, the focus. It sucks.
Yeah, I help look through that with you. I would also recommend just tossing that into ChatGPT, even the free version, and being like, "This is what I'm intending to do. Can you help me?" And it will figure
It's
it out
that
for you.
good, huh?
It's that
So
good.
ChatGPT isn't just for like helping you write an essay for school.
No, 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 no.
No, I, I
Here.
I know I know that it does more than that. I've just not dabbled to the extent that you have.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm in ChatGPT. I'm in AI literally every single day and multiple times a day. Um, I'm gonna bring this over here.
You know what's cool? Like my mom, when my mom texts me, it's like a whole paragraph. Like it takes the whole phone screen. But now, when my mom texts me, my phone uses AI and it summarizes the text for me. It's fucking beautiful.
Yep, so they're doing research preview for 4.5, but it's phenomenal still. O1 for advanced reasoning. This is one that I use for more complex vetting out of ideas or building workflows. So let's just go through your Windows uh, 10 to Windows 11 issue and see what it outputs here.
Okay,
All right,
this is
so
intriguing.
I am trying to update Windows 10 to Windows 11, and my computer continues to restart but not advance to complete the install. Can I have a step-by-step guide to show me how to complete the upgrades or the upgrade from Windows 10 to Windows 11? All right, so it's gonna reason. O1 takes a little bit longer than like 4.0 or 4.5 because it's doing so much constructing to build this out. So it's gonna ask you to confirm your system requirements first. Once you get through that, it tells you even how to check that. Then it's preparing for the upgrade, so making sure that you backed up your data and it goes through the different steps that could be optional, could not, because it's thinking about that. And then it walks you through how do you go through the steps, and then gives also using an installation assistant in these steps. Look at how just robust this is to help
You
you.
know what it makes me wonder? It makes me wonder if school is going to become obsolete at some point.
Isn't it already? Like, not to talk politics again, but isn't that the whole reason why the whole disbanding of the Department of Education on a federal level and putting it in the hands of the state to look at internal options of improving the educational system, because right now it is just failing. We are churning out diplomas at a lower rate with less vital skills to even have a fighting chance to survive in our existing economy and our existing world that we live in. They're not teaching kids about how do you file taxes. They're not teaching kids how do you change a filter on a furnace. They're not teaching kids about the different types of grasses that could be outside and the crab grasses and the weeding and all that. Like, I guess that's too granular. They're not prepping kids for survival in budgeting, money management, understanding markets, understanding what the interest rates on credit cards are a big thing. So they're not teaching kids vital things. They're teaching kids about stuff that they're just going right to ChatGPT now and spitting out an answer to provide because it's so, I don't know, it's so standardized to a degree that a robot could go through, a ChatGPT could go through and graduate right now. And a kid could just rely on that and not retain anything. And what it feels like our kids are suffering because
Well, and it's not just our
yeah.
kids, because this is going to sound terrible. I don't even know if I should say this, but I'm going to.
Oh, we'll
Jesus
be right
forgive me.
back. Oh, just kidding.
So, my mother and all of her siblings have zero street smarts. None. My aunts and uncles are kind of stupid. It took me a while to realize that, because when you're a kid, you don't look at parents and aunts and uncles like that. But, like, I honestly think that they're fucking dumb. They really are. So, what I'm saying is that I don't know if school has ever done a great job of getting people prepared for life.
And that is the Billy Goats clip of the day right there. Clip of the day.
We're gonna put this all over the internet. Send it to all of his family members immediately after this concludes.
Yeah, yeah. So they're talking about like literacy rates. Uh, Again, let's just pick the brain. I know we wanted to do this on a different time, but let me go ahead and do that. Let me just start a new chat. I'm gonna go into the 4.0 model because I'm paying for an escalated version. You may not have all these options in the free version, but I pay
Right.
for the $20 one. There is an even bigger plan that's out there. I think it's like the $200 a month plan that
Yeah,
corporations
fuck
are
that
using.
noise. Jesus.
Um,
That's a motorcycle, homie.
so, so another person I like to watch is this mathematical physicist Eric Weinstein. I like to watch a lot of his stuff. You know what? I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole. He was just uh, talking about literacy rates. He was talking about the issues with educating. Oh, I should probably get to our cameras here. Educating people for progressing our future as humans and how certain demographics around the country are just suffering from their educational systems, and they're not pushing mathematics and physics, which both are what progresses humanity. Like, if you want to know how to get to Mars, it's done through physics. It's not done through this billionaire that's got endless amounts of money. It's done from the
Physics and
researchers.
a shit ton of math.
Yep, that's exactly it. You want to figure out how to do it, you don't figure out the metal, you figure out the math. Then,
Yeah.
once the math is figured out, then you have a blueprint of what it's going to take to fulfill that equation of accomplishment. They're all just variables, essentially. Every single component on a rocket ship is just a variable that went into a math equation that solved X equation for whatever that issue would be. Heat shielding was the biggest one. That's how we're able to bring that rocket back and put it in the arms and reuse it, because it was a mathematical equation along with physics that eventually allowed that to be a possibility. So we're going to go back to the screen and we're just going to ask, what what are
And while
the
you
literacy
While
rates.
you do that, I'm going to give 2 examples as why I just said what I said about my frickin' parents. Okay? My dad once bought a truck, and then after 2 weeks, traded it back in, lost lots of money, obviously, because it was a brand new truck. All because it beeped when he left the keys in it and closed the door. My mom last year was buying a dog from overseas. Obviously, it was a scam for thousands of dollars. She actually thought that these people were going to fly here from India with a dog for $500. Needless to say, they didn't show up to the airport. Like, there's a reason why scammers go after the elderly, is because they don't have any street smarts when it comes to technology, period. I need you to go get 5 Apple gift cards, all right? $100 each. And I need you to stay on the phone with me the whole time. You know where I'm going with this. It's bad, and it's been happening to my family, and all I can tell them is, can you fucking call me next time?
You can see that by demographics, age. Older adults tend to have lower literacy rates. So
Is
what
it
you were
because it dropped off?
No, it's more because you think of you think of the different generations, right? You've got what was it called? What was it called? It was like the Secret Whisper that was prior
You
to
can give me a secret
1945.
whisper any day, brother.
Well, God, wait, you know what? I'm gonna just ask ChatGPT about it. But then it went into the boomer age, right? And we were in the Industrial Revolution. Everything was so focused on manufacturing and also farming. Farming has always been super important to the US. We need food on our table.
America needs farmers.
Yep, America needs farmers just like they need plumbers, like they need electricians, like they need people that build houses. We need everybody until robots. Until robots. Robots will eventually take care of that.
Yeah, I think that the first robots that get integrated are going to be janitors at schools. That's my
Nope,
guess.
that's incorrect.
Damn it.
The
Was
first
it at least a good
robots
guess, not knowing at all?
the first robots are going to be in manufacturing plants that are doing repeatable actions, such
Yeah.
as quality
I,
control, scanning
in my
things on a
defense,
line. Yep, go ahead.
I wasn't thinking, I wasn't counting those robots because, like, for sure, like, you're absolutely right.
Yep.
I was thinking more along the lines of the robots that are doing our bidding rather than creating more robots.
So
But yeah, no.
you're kind of on the right track. So the robots are starting in manufacturing, doing the repeatable tasks, accounting for hazardous scenarios, ensuring that they're kind of fine tuning the bugs. What I believe, and I don't think there's anything that has been suggested out there. I believe the medical field will obtain the next robots, and primarily they're likely going to focus on um, additional help for nurses because nurse shortages are a real thing, burnout's a real thing as well. So having a robot that's able to always on demand know the right medications to use. They can do a quick scan of vitals. They can even have cameras that are set up so a nurse can monitor while this robot's in there, maybe changing a bedpan or bringing food or bringing medication. I think robots will be one of the first, or hospitals, clinics, those will be one of the first places that I feel like robots will be integrated outside of a manufacturing setting. Now, one could argue robots from a vehicle standpoint with these auto drivers in Teslas and these different taxis that are currently on the roadways that are driverless. Those are technically robots. Those are
Yeah,
machines.
when I think robots, I think of iRobot with Will Smith. I think of a
Yeah.
humanoid robot with an AI brain
Hmm.
that can, like, hey, can you go use the air fryer and make me a batch of cheese curds? You know, When I
Yep.
think robot, that's what I'm thinking of.
So you're pitching two legs, two arms, a head. Now, one could argue
I mean, it
that
could
would.
even look like the ones from Interstellar.
So here's the argument towards a future of those type of robots. They are going to ultimately have the same limitations that humans have, such as two arms only. Why not create a robot with four arms
Oh yeah, Goro. Let's
or
go
six
six. Now I
arms?
know that.
You
Yeah.
know, why not have just arms that can retract and like using
Because
some
their
sort of
brain can control an infinite amount of limbs when our brain cannot.
correct. They can have all those processing powers going on and making that happen. The reason you want a picture of that, and the reason robots will continue to trend in that direction, is for early and easy adoption. I think it would be easier for us as humans to let our guard down a little bit more and allow these machines into our life if they kind of look like us. And, in some regard, like it
It's an
almost
ease
would feel
in
like
our
we
brain.
we would we would have some like empowerment over these machines because well they look like us and they're pre-programmed. We're smarter. We know the off switch, right? Now, we just talked about cars being considered a robot. It's essentially just a robot. It's just a computer on wheels.
Hmm.
It, when robots get adapted to other industries like a manufacturing, they may modify these robots to have additional arms to accomplish more tasks that may be required in a more timely fashion.
We're gonna
When they
need safe words, bro. We're gonna need safe words.
say my safe word is banana. Um, So when you've got robots that are coming into a home and you're dealing with kids or you're dealing with animals, animals will be like, "What the fuck?" But if
Hmm.
you create it in an image of a human, they'll
Yeah.
obviously sense and smell that this is not right, but they may
Yeah.
be a little more adaptable on something they would recognize versus bringing in something with like 10 arms that's like crawling like crazy, but it's more efficient doing that way. It can go everywhere, upside down, up and down, and it's got 10 arms. That would freak me out. That would freak you out. That would
It's
freak your
climbing on
dogs
the
out.
fucking ceiling again, mom.
Yeah, your son, your younger son that came in your door earlier, he's gonna go out there and be like, "Where's my backpack for school?" And all of a sudden, this crazy like eight-armed robot's gonna come rolling by, and he's like, "Ah, backpack and snack packed."
I
You know,
fucking love this podcast so much.
yeah, so you're gonna want two legs, two arms. You want that. So I think the hospital, and truly I think there is a purpose because elderly care is so concerning. When we think about these baby boomers that are in their 70s, their 80s, their 90s, holy crap! I recently had to move my grandma around from a independent living to an assisted living facility, and finding people to be there 24/7 at these different locations and provide the proper attention, care. Can you imagine just having a robot that's like, you know what, let's have a conversation. Why don't you tell me about your life? And it could record all these and record that voice. And then, if that person ultimately passes, because that's just a part of life, is death, when they pass, imagine that robot's like, one moment. And then it's your grandmother, your grandfather, your great grandmother, your great grandfather. Or maybe it's your mother, your father, depending on how old you are, because you're fucking old, dude. So I don't know how old your
Mhm.
parents are. So I'm just kidding. You're not that much older than I am.
Do you
But
think that we'll ever be able to upload a consciousness of an individual and put them into a robot?
So that's ultimately a debate that's happening as well, especially around Neuralink and remapping our brains, the concerns around what makes a human a human. Is consciousness the awareness that you can make certain decisions? Is a consciousness some existential like entity that we've absorbed in some sort of physical body, and then when we pass, it either gets absorbed in the earth and then goes into another, or gets put back into some heavenly state and then back down, unless you're medieval, then comes looking up from hell, and then, no, I'm just kidding, medieval, I love you so much. It's like what makes a human, and when you take away certain senses of a body, I think that's ultimately what's going to determine the difference between a human and a non-human. When you take away their sense of sight, sense of smell, sense of taste, feeling, hearing, like sure it can accomplish sight through its cameras, and it's already got the programming in there to decipher what it's looking at. It can hear things. It can decipher what it's, listening to. It can even mimic and mirror what it's hearing. Um, but then the sense of taste. That taste creates experience. That smell
Dude,
creates
imagine life
experience.
without taste.
Dude, COVID
My
went.
favorite thing to do is fucking eat.
Did you ever lose your taste during the COVID?
No, but Blair did, and she
Yeah.
still has a sense of smell that's all fucked up.
So I lost my sense of taste for about 10 days, I think it was. It was one of the worst 10 days of my life because, like you, I love food.
What did it taste like nothing or did it taste like dog shit?
There was lack of taste. Like if I ate a steak with my A1 sauce and my marinated mushrooms, I could not taste the A1 sauce or the marinated mushrooms. I could only just feel the texture of the steak and the different textures that the mushrooms and the sauce made while I was chewing it. There was no like flavor at all.
That sucks, bro.
And
That
then
sucks.
there were certain things that were distorted. So one of my favorite chips were Ruffles sour cream and cheddar. And when I would eat one, it would feel and taste like sawdust every single bite. And some people say it
Oh,
still does, but I
there
got that
was a
taste back.
time where I had some M&Ms and M's and I thought I was eating little rabbit pellets of shit. And I haven't had an M&M since. I forgot all about that. But that was back then during the COVID day. I hand them to Blair and I said, "Hey, tell me if this tastes right to you." And she said, "Tastes normal." But
Hmm.
yeah, there was a couple bad M&Ms, but that was the extent of it for me. But I'd have been depressed if I went 10 days without sense of taste. You were probably worried that it might not come back.
I was worried it might not come back because I did hear stories prior to getting it that it's never returned to some people. And it freaked me out because I'm like, well, okay. I mean, this is a good way to lose a bunch of weight because I have zero interest in food. But other than that, like, that's what I plan traveling trips around is different, like, exotic type foods that I want to try at different
Exactly.
locations. Because again, those different senses create different memories, different experiences. Have you ever had those moments where you listen to a song and it almost like time
Oh,
travels
instantly
you,
time travel. Yeah, time
transports
travel.
you back? Could
Music is the best time machine we got.
could a computer have those same types of feelings? Now, one could argue it could be programmed. If it hears a certain song, then all of a sudden it has anything that was related to that song. But is that truly a memory? Because as humans, most of us, there are some rare cases, but most of us value our memories and value the ones we retain, for better or worse.
Well, without memories, we're not really a conscious being anymore. Because if you're not remembering anything you do, not really living, in my opinion. That's how I feel.
So that could be an argument for, is an Alzheimer's patient eligible for assisted suicide? Not that I wanted to take it that deep, dark turn, but that's
Yeah.
some of the arguments is what makes
No, there's definitely
human
been like
a
TV
human.
shows, movies where like there's a character that you feel sorry for, that you wish that, and they, in some movies and shows, they'll even say like, "Come on, Gretchen, pull the plug." Like I'm gonna forget everything that I say in 5 minutes, and I'm not living anymore. Like I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
So like that's it's wild to think about for me because my grandfather, who's my best friend, I'm fortunate. I still have him at 30. My grand- I had a I had a trip I had to take, and on my way back, I stopped at my grandpa's because I knew he was there by himself, and we had a good 45-minute, hour-long conversation, and he said the same thing 3 or 4 times on a couple different subjects, and it really just it's sad, bro. It's fucking sad. And me being
Mhm.
41 years old, thinking about that, like I don't know if I want to be around at those stages of my life when I don't even remember what I did yesterday. Now, do I remember what I actually did yesterday? Maybe bits and pieces. But like when you're in the Alzheimer's state, what is the lack of a memory feel like to you? Is it just darkness, like for as far back as you can think? And then you might have a handful of memories that you just cherish that you do still hold on to. But like when you watch these shows or movies and they're like they don't even know their own daughter. Like
Well,
that's brutal.
well, here's an example. If I'm like, dude, remember when you came up to Wild Bill's and we were hanging out outside and that stupid cameraman was there and I went up and I
Mm-hmm.
punched him right in the face. Remember that? Remember I
No,
That's
no.
exactly what it is for Alzheimer's. Like there's a disconnect in the neuro connections that once placed the electricity that basically drew that picture in your brain as a memory. And if you no longer can connect to that, it's likely going to dissipate if it has no action or interaction, because like everything, everything atrophies. Our bodies atrophy, our minds atrophy. That's why we always talk about, it's always in everybody's best interest, especially you and I, as you are in your 40s, I'm approaching my 40s really quickly, to stay physically active. And those that are getting up there and higher ages, why they love watching Wheel of Fortune or The Price is Right or Jeopardy, is because those are easy outlets for them to continue testing their brain and challenging themselves and possibly sparking those memories that they don't want to lose, and why they're so desperate to have grandchildren and children and great grandchildren in their lives to speak to them, because they're so afraid that their mind is continuing to atrophy. Their memories that they have, that they've acquired over all that time, is getting no activity. So that's going to disappear. They're going to forget what it felt like to watch their children or their grandchildren's first like sporting events or recitals, or certain things that happen in their life. You've got to work those things out if you want to keep them. You want to keep a good physical body. You want to walk around and be able to travel around in your retirement ages or your twilight years when your kids are all gone, or if you're single. Like, that's why people that are single that made that choice, they're very well aware of this. They're well aware that if you have children, likely your life is going to be wrapped around a scheduled life where you've already done your growing up and now you're in this work. Oh, excuse me. Let me go off the screen. Now you're in your work section and you're trying to find little bits in time, but you're working this whole time. And then you have your retirement phase or your empty nester phase, if you're able to, with the means before that, to be able to do things and travel and experience life continuously. And if you're not working out, or if you're not taking care of yourself mentally, physically, your body, your mind will atrophy,
I
because
started doing Sudoku
that's
a
what
couple days
happens.
ago. I'm doing Sudoku every day to keep my brain sharp.
Those are fun, aren't they? I do it on the airplane
Yeah,
all the time. Whenever I'm flying
that's
anywhere, I
fun.
do
I'll
Sudoku.
be in a gazebo in Cancun and I'll just be doing Sudoku on a freaking little magazine page.
Sudoku is fun. Do you do like, are you still in like, would you consider yourself one that can take on those very challenging ones where you have to imagine like 10 moves ahead to find the missing spaces, or are you one that's like, you know what, I can just crunch through the ones, the twos, the threes, all the way to the nines until I can find a missing pair that can go in there?
The harder they are, the more fun they are, in my opinion. Not that I finish every one of them, but when I in my younger 30s, I actually would make my own Sudokus, and that's really hard to like get a blank grid and then put the numbers out and not have it be breaking any rules.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, it's actually easier to do those really hard ones and then just kind of get through it.
Watch
Because if
this.
you actually have to make your own Sudoku, it's that's very challenging to do.
I
You
don't
almost
know.
need AI Sudoku
Yeah,
page.
I don't know which one. I'm gonna try ChatGPT 4.5 with this one, see what happens. Can you create a moderate to hard Sudoku puzzle for me?
I'll be shocked if this works.
So it's
No
telling
fucking way.
me to write a Python script for an array. Here's a moderate to hard Sudoku puzzle to solve for you. So the zeros would essentially be your blanks
The
that
blank
you're filling out.
spots.
So if
Holy
you
shit!
made the grid, this is your moderate to hard Sudoku puzzle that you can just transfer to paper and start doing.
That is
Say,
fucking cool.
I don't like this one. It's too hard. Can you simplify for me? And so what it's going to do, it's going to create a new Python script, which is repeatable. Like I can put this Python script in a schedule and have it just generate a new one and put this out on my social media if I wanted to, if people to solve Sudokus of the day or something. If you solve it for me, then you get a prize. Like there's so many cool things that you can do with this. Now check this out. Can you show me the resolution of this Sudoku to test my results?
Mm.
So it's going to take that puzzle. Oh, there's no solve for it. This is bullshit. I'm going to have to write a letter to them. Oh, there it
That
is. They did it.
is so cool.
So if we took a snapshot of this, we know this is 983650247. So if I go down, that line is 983651247. That means that 0 is the 1. So it did solve my puzzle.
Nice.
So it just had to rewrite itself. So it realized that it was having a problem. Let's solve it manually instead. So if I took the time to read that, I would be like, "What?" freaking out for nothing. And then realize, "Oh, it's coming up and providing a solve for me." Like this, that's why I'm telling you, I am just I'm buying into it so much, and I'm not alone. I know there's a ton of people out there that are like, well, yeah, AI, duh, you know? But really,
Duh.
there's a lot of people. So here's an example. My older brother hates computers. He hates technology. Like there was a point in time in his life where he was literally getting emotional to the point of aggression and anger in stating that our society is going to crumble and nobody's going to know how to build a fire, build a house, hunt their own animals to survive. Nobody has survival skills. And I said, well, AI can do that all. AI can tell me what I need to know to survive in any sort of environment. Like if I was stuck in Antarctica, I would type into ChatGPT, I'm in Antarctica. I need to survive. This is what I have. It would walk me through on, you're probably going to die, but this is what you should look for. And it will probably likely be shelter, and it will tell me to get food and find a water source, find firewood. It will probably go through the essentials. But if I ever had any questions about, like, how can I improve upon this, it's going to further dive in depth. So I got my older
What you're
brother
saying,
to look at
what you're
this.
saying is that the Don is it Donner Party?
Oh,
The
yeah.
Donner Party needed Chat GPT.
Yes. Yes.
I just like I've always known about that story, but like I've gone in depth with it over the last couple of days with some History Channel shows I've watched. That we should talk about that next week, dude. That's some interesting shit.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, I want to go through some of these tools because, like I said, it's made my life infinitely better. So I back to my older brother, right? He was so against it, so resistant to it, would not look into it. I told him the best advice that I will ever give you in my life up to this point would be spend the $20. Spend the $20, get the elevated chat GPT, and start just putting in your ideas. Put in your business plan. Put in everything that you want answers to. Because imagine you and I, we have this relationship. We're hanging out on this podcast, we're talking. Now imagine every single time you had a question, I had an answer for, and vice versa. That is what that AI tool is for literally anything. Every book that ever was written can be referenced. Every piece of art that's been created, curated, can be referenced. Every bit of history that's ever, any written word about anything is going to
Okay,
find its way on the internet and be referenced.
let's do a Chat GPT test real quick. I want you to type something in for me. I want to see how good this
Then we're
really
going to
is.
do a giveaway right after this one
And
here.
we're gonna do a giveaway, and then we're gonna talk about what we're gonna talk next week.
All right. What do you want?
Okay. I don't know which version will be best for this, but um, type in what was the name of the ship that tried to get from the east side, no, let's say to get to the Atlantic, to the Pacific, to the northern hemisphere. Or maybe what expedition was it? I want to know how really good this is with a really bad way of explaining something.
Okay, so what was the name of the first known ship that tried to get from the Atlantic to the Pacific, or what expedition was it, and who was involved? Right?
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. So if I'm going to do research like that, I would probably go into 4.5 or 4. So 4.5, we'll go ahead and use that. First known expedition that successfully navigated from the Atlantic to the Pacific Ocean was led by Portuguese explorer Ferdinand Magellan. The ship leading this historical expedition was named Victoria, though it was originally part of a 5-ship fleet. So you're getting your answer, right?
Yeah. It's fucking wild. And it's descriptive. Like it doesn't just say it was called this.
How?
It
Oh,
goes into
watch
so
this.
fucking.
Watch this. I would like this to be further further developed for an answer that could be a 3-page paper. Paper.
No way.
Uh, and have the first letter of every sentence
No fucking
start
way,
with
bro.
T.
No way.
Watch this.
No way.
Certainly, here's a carefully crafted, detailed response that expands into essay-style format suitable for a 3-page paper with every sentence start with T. And we'll
That is
just test
so
it.
crazy.
The historic journey, this, the,
Fleet.
they, the passage, the breakdown, blah, 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 blah. You get to see it, and it will just go through and curate the answer exactly how you want it, however you want it. That's
Okay, type in this last thing. Say, what about the ship called Terror?
Terror. Was there ever a ship called Terror in this expedition or any other expeditions that is known? Yes, there was indeed a famous ship called HMS Terror, but it was not part of that. This is an Arctic exploration.
1836 to 1837.
It talks about the different expeditions that they were involved in. The most famous, the Franklin expedition.
Yeah, the Franklin one is wild, bro.
It occurred more
I
than
I
3 centuries ago.
encourage anyone that likes history to look up the HMS Terror and the Franklin expedition and just dive deep. It's so cool.
Look at this. In 2016, preserved under the Arctic waters. That's crazy.
Yeah, they found it. Yeah, they did.
So yeah, these are examples of the power that can come with AI. Now, from a programming standpoint, I'm gonna just show this last one. Then we're getting on with it. Let's see. Good for
Dude, this is a
writing.
new record. We've never gone this long in a podcast.
Well,
Let's
we're
go.
just having fun, man. It can be as
Well,
long
hell
as
yeah.
short as we want it.
It's so fucking cool. We're just beating records and having fun.
Check this out. I want you to help me write a phone app that can pull up all ships that have ever existed. Um, let's see. That can search through a catalog of all ships that have ever existed that relate to a certain prompt word someone enters. Seems pretty crazy. Very simple command put in here, correct? Let's go ahead and
Ish.
see what it
AI maybe.
see what it does. It's going to walk me through step by step by step by step by step. Yep. It's going to just walk me through, and if I wanted to change something like, hey, step 1 is not, oh no, step 2. Step 2 is not loading in all my ships. I only see 3. What
Yeah.
the F, mate?
WTF, mate?
Ah, the user is having an issue, so it's talking to itself. And this stuff's gonna go away.
Can it give you financial advice too? Like, what stock should I buy tomorrow?
What stock should I consider buying tomorrow? Now, there are a ton of YouTube videos that are vague enough that they don't actually give away their secrets, because of course that I've looked into it. but there are certain ones that are vague enough that they don't give their exact criteria that they build around, but they do talk about building bots and how to build bots to follow the trends and to put in your stoppages, your buy-ins, your selling, and when it hits certain parameters, then it will initiate an action and actually carry through with either the buy, the sell, the short. You can have it programmed. You can ask ChatGPT or whatever programming AI bot that you're using to send an email, connect to an SMS server, and send you a text when certain actions are happening. Maybe there's a huge bull run and you're out getting ice cream with the family. It can send an email or a text alert to your phone that says, hey, there's a huge bull run, so you can just pull it up on your phone right away and, all right, get in there and buy before it takes off. So let's go ahead and take a look here. What stock should I consider buying tomorrow on the New York Stock Exchange? Because we got a global audience. They may not be using uh,
Yeah.
certain ones, and it may reference all of them. All right, so it talks about different considerations, cautionary tales. If you had to suggest one to consider, which would it be? Corning Inc. GLW stands out as a strong candidate for tomorrow's potential investment. And then it talks
Okay.
about why.
Now I'm going to Robinhood and I'm going to look at it, see what it is. What was the symbol?
GLW, Corning Inc.
Morning. Looks like in the past 3 months it's down 1%. How about all time? What's its all time? The highest it ever was $99. No, 109.31. And right now it's half that, more than half, less than half, $47.10 right now. Engages in the provision of glass for notebook computers, flat panel desktop monitors, display televisions, and other information display applications. Of course, it gives us a tech one, doesn't it?
Well, it doesn't, you can choose to stay out of the tech field. So let's look at one in, just give me any division or any type of industry.
Yeah, let's go with the medicine one.
Healthcare?
Big pharma.
Big, yeah, we'll just do that. Big pharma. GILD.
Guild.
Currently trading at $109 as of March 27th, which means this is in the future.
What is it called? Is it Gildan or is it Gilead Sciences?
Gilead Sciences Inc. GILD.
Yeah, it's at $110 even right now.
So wherever the server is located, it just pulled up a timestamp and it says it's tomorrow. But yeah, it's given us a current stock, which was today, but it's actually tomorrow.
Engages in research, development, and commercialization of medicines in area of unmet medical need.
It's just craziness, man. The world we
This
live
is
in.
fucking crazy, bro. It is just absolutely crazy.
So I talked to my brother because he is an entrepreneur and he's an inventor. He's currently inventing something in his industry, and he was having a lot of trouble with like understanding copyright, understanding patenting, understanding certain things that when you're looking for capital, when you're looking for partnerships, when you're looking to even sell, there are certain aspects such as valuation, predictions. And I'm like, even aside from that, put it into ChatGPT and say, this is what I have, this is where I'm at, this is where I want to go. What considerations should I be looking into to understand this better to communicate with potential investors? Or what considerations or needs do I need to accomplish before considering trying to adapt this product into production? What distribution should I be looking into? What types of materials should I be considering to accomplish what my design is built for? It's going to do all of that research instantly. We're talking like less than a minute to write up full blueprints, full designs, full workflows, talking through the legal paperwork, talking through the copyright stuff, talking through the evaluations, how to consider the evaluations, talking about the current industry standards, and talking about the landscape in that industry. What are some of the successes, some of the failures of companies that have done similar things? It's going to go through all of that research and put together. And the way that I look at it is you're not then all of a sudden releasing control of this idea or product to some sort of bot or some sort of computer or some sort of unknown entity. You are a pilot or a CEO of this miniature company that only has one person, and that's your AI bot. And it does everything. It's your executive assistant. It does your scheduling, your planning. It is your researcher. It's your R&D. It's your legal. It's your product development. It's your research and development. It is your way of connecting to communities. It will suggest join these Discord communities, join these websites, join these Reddit threads. It's an unbelievably powerful tool for entrepreneurs that is still in such an infancy stage that you can pick up on the differences of people that are doing it what I would consider the old way of grinding and spending the time writing or typing and drawing and making the phone calls and independent Google type research. You could do that. But you can definitely see the difference between a machine that's basically done this, countless times through different simulations and
Mm-hmm.
and see the framework, see the verbiage, the way it's laid out, never missing a key data point, a key entry. Like you're essentially being an editor and allowing yourself free time to keep building on the creativity portion of it. It's freeing your time up of what I would consider the busy work. So you do what you
Yeah.
do best, which is imagine, cultivate, and grow your idea and
I
use the
might finally be
technology to
able
do
to
it.
create that smartphone game that I've been thinking about for 15 years.
Absolutely. There are so many tools there, and I'm just showing you ChatGPT. There's a million, no, not a
Yeah.
million. Well, there's a hundred
There
and
might be a million now.
after I believe it was last week, there were over 150 million open source projects in AI currently in development. 150 million current projects. And what they're looking for is people to complete code, complete either
Yeah.
figuring out a bug in accomplishing, like we saw in Sudoku earlier, that, oh, there's no library that contains every single combination of every single Sudoku that's out there to be referenced. There could be. You could be the one that hops in GitHub and grabs that code and completes it. But these are all projects that are going. Now there's products that are in our main or not mainstream, but are in live production that are customer facing that allow you to basically voice what you want and it will just do it. And when you're talking about a phone app, there's a specific program, and I'll tell you off this call because I haven't vetted it yet, so I would hate to like get anybody else kind of involved in that until I
Right.
actually understand it. But what you can say is I want a phone app that does XYZ. And what it will do is it will immediately start coding and showing you an example of what it will look like from your phone. So as you're kind of saying, can you test this or test that, going through just the QA type stuff from for your own benefit, it will actually simulate what that looks like. And then at the end of it, which is the craziest fucking part, at the end of it, you can hit go live, and that will become available immediately on iOS and Android stores.
We're gonna talk more about that offline because I
Isn't that just mind blowing?
it is.
Like, in we're talking stuff that took years to do, or maybe a very proficient coder could get it done in a couple of months, like an actual
I was gonna say
fine-tuned
months.
product.
Yeah.
Um, we're talking this could be done in less than a week of
Yeah.
like
Fucking great.
fully building a company. Like if you were driven enough, you could get it all done in one day, one sitting.
Yeah, I'll text you my idea after the cast. Let's do our giveaway. I gotta
Yeah.
get some stuff done before I hit
Yeah.
bed.
Let's do the giveaway. We're just gonna give the rest away. Top 4 people get $5. You know what? Screw it. Top one gets $10. Second place gets $5. Third place gets $5. So top 3
Love
get
it.
paid. First one gets $10 giveaway. So did it work? Are we not in here? Do we have people in?
Is this me?
I see
Ooh,
balls.
that's a cool looking one, Medieval.
Yeah, this is Medieval's recommendation. Oh, snap. All right, I'm gonna just toss it out here.
That
Add
is so
here.
fucking cool.
Final giveaway. Top 3 get paid. $10 for first. $10 USDC first. Second.
While you set this up, I'm gonna let my dog out real quick.
Third. USDC. Get in here, fam. There we go. All right. Let's get some people in here. We had 5 people in. That would mean everybody's getting paid unless Exotic or I win it. Exclamation point play, everybody. Get in here. Exclamation point play. We're giving away $20 USDC to the top 3. 10 for first, 5 for second.
My dog's getting
Third.
groomed for the first time tomorrow.
Ooh. Groomed, you say?
Nails and hair did.
Is Medieval on here? Medieval, I have questions.
Yeah, he's here.
Where are you at, Medieval? I want to know why I can't see names unless they join.
Yeah, where are they? Where are the balls at?
Like, Ivan showed up there for a minute. Maybe you have to do a setting from before? What up, Blockchain? Thank you for hopping in here.
He said hit control.
Hit control. Or alt. Alt is the one. There we go. We got Wick. We got Boy Hustler. Ivan. Ivan, if you win again, like, you always are on custom stream winning everything. I'm pretty sure you've won one of ours too. You just come and steal all my money, bruh. Blockchain Gaming, Diamond Hands, Medieval, Miss 369 up in here.
Oh, my dog wants to say to Miss 369. Can you put us big again?
Yeah. Boop.
Miss 369, this is my bundle of joy. Her name is Nugget. And she's cutie pie.
You're right, you're gonna have to get that camera fixed because I swear to God, when I switched over, I'm like, what are those cool designs on that dog? But it was your arm leading into the dog.
Yeah, we will fix it.
What a cutie pie. What a cutie patootie.
He totally is.
All right, it's 9:48, so at 9:50, we're kicking this off. Hell or high water, I don't care. We're going with it.
This dog might as well be a human. She sleeps under the covers.
This has been a blast, man. Yeah, I mean, we said it last week where we're like, this was our favorite.
Like, this was our favorite one. Every week it's gonna be that way, and that just goes to show you how much fun we're having.
It's true. I'm having a blast. I'm hoping people that are listening in are having a blast, and if not, whatever. We're still having a blast, and I'm gonna do this every week until I can't. So.
Wick, you better stay away from my freaking dog. Stay away, Wick. I'm on to you and your tricks.
We got like less than a minute. Get on in, exclamation point, play. Let's get her done.
I'm putting my money on Miss 369 actually on this one. She's gonna beat Wick.
Let's see. Hold on, let me hook these homies up. Crap, I can't do it. I was gonna hop into the Nightcrow's chat and tell Beer Candy and Griffey to hop over here. Another time.
Can't wait to see your balls drop.
It's gonna be a great time.
Take my strong hand, Billion.
Oh, the balls are dropping. There we go. Man, what? I'm gonna have to go back and transcribe this and figure out all the different topics that we covered because I feel like we covered a lot of stuff tonight.
Dude, we just cannot forget to talk about supercomputers next week.
Oh, quantum computing. That's another thing. Like, there's only so much development that's happening in there. But they've had some breakthroughs recently with quantum computing with certain calculations that they were stuck on that they could not get. I think their biggest issue with quantum computing right now is understanding what they're looking at. Like, they almost need these computers to dumb it down to be like, hey, even the smartest people in the world are having trouble understanding this. All right, we're on 9, so your odds for top 3 are very good, everyone. Very, very good. Let's go ahead and get this started. We're going to hit the countdown going. If you snoozed, you lose. Did. And here we go. Gosh, I want to be able to get, like, I want to be able to see all of this because this is super cool. We're just going to follow 369 through this. We'll go up to Diamond Hands because he's winning. Back. Boy Hustler. Oh, there I am. Look at that face. Oh my goodness. What a baby. Blockchain makes it out through the first little hiccup where everybody got hung up on. What is this? Oh! Don't go. Oh! You get split up into 2 different directions. Getting Getting split into two different directions. Given erections. Yeah, I'm not very good. I'm not like Harry Mack. I can't spit it off the top of my dome. I can find plenty of things that rhyme. Wow. You get launched into the pot leaf.
I love being in last place.
Oh my goodness.
Last
Let's go look at you.
place. I'm probably stuck somewhere.
There you are. You're getting
I'm,
through. Oh, you just passed Wick.
Wick and I are just hanging out in the back. He's my caboose.
Oh my goodness. Who's back up in first? Blockchain? Blockchain's like, all your $10 are belong to us. I do
Holy
like,
shit.
can you see in the bottom left corner? Like the new update is allowing my
Yeah.
streaming to happen here and you can see who's talking.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's so cool. I must have accidentally hit a button to make that happen. Jamie, can you
Let's
check on that?
go! Let's go, Miss 369! You gotta win this thing!
Diamond
I
hands.
can't.
Where are you going? Oh, we got a cluster back
Dude,
here.
that tunnel is fucking cool.
Hey, Wick, you are allowed to participate. You can come hang out with the rest of the group when you want. Diamond hands hopping
Oh
in
man,
front.
it's gonna have to be a miracle for me to get up there.
Well, there's no world record. Somebody must have like glitched and made it all the way to the end 45 seconds ago. Oh, oh! Diamond hands takes it down. One,
And he's been
two,
here the whole
three.
time, so well deserved.
Very much so. All right, we
Hey,
are.
I was kind of right. Miss 369 was in the pay.
There we go. We'll grab these results. Looks like everybody I recognize already on our FAM Discord. So anybody that is not aware, FAM Discord, you'll see it on multiple links that we have available in the description. To qualify for any wins on this channel, you are required to be a part of the FAM Discord. So it should be popping up there at different intervals, but I'll put that in the chat before we finish up here. Let me grab a snip so I know who I am paying out here.
Wick said he'd rather hang out in the back, I guess.
Yeah. Alright. So I'm going to send this to us so we have that so I can get them paid. Alright. Diamond hands. Alright. I'll reach out to you. Ava C chain for USDC. If that
I
is
think it's
not working for you, we'll figure it out.
I think what we'll do next week is we'll double up the giveaways. I'll bring 25, you bring 25, we'll do 50 total. We'll do bigger prizes.
If we're gonna do anything over 25, then I think we'll do some advertising for that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. I mean, does anybody disagree with that? I mean, $50 USDC to do whatever you want with. Invest, buy some fun NFT items. I mean,
Buy some new marbles.
buy some new marbles. Yeah, you got a lot more opportunity, and I think that might be pulling in some global audience members because $50 is more than just some loose change for a lot of people. But appreciate everybody joining. Congratulations to our winners tonight. We had unique winners for each one of them. That's always nice to see. One of the fun things about our channel is because we are giving away mostly USDC, you are allowed to win more than once. So it is in your best interest. We do it sometimes in the beginning, sometimes in the middle, sometimes all at the end. You never know. It can be an hour-long podcast, it could be a 3-hour-long podcast like we did tonight. it's just open-ended. If we get on topics we really enjoy and want to dive into, I mean, that's where we're going to spend our time. And we appreciate everybody hanging out, though. Thanks again for all the love and support for those that hung out. For those that are watching the video on demand, we hope to see you in one of our live sessions coming up. Exotic, you got anything on the schedule coming up this week?
No, I'm just excited to be here again next week, 7 days from now, 7 o'clock Central.
All right. Well, what's currently happening in the fam right now? We have an ongoing event with boss fighters. It had started yesterday and will continue for a week. If you have any questions about that, please reach out in the Discord for how to either participate or be involved if you signed up. It looks like it's pretty simple. You just hop on and start playing. That is literally the only requirement. It doesn't look like you need to participate in the economy. They just want you to play. Go in there, go use the weapons, go take down some bosses, go have some fun in boss fighters. It is a fun kind of just escape from reality. And I know we have some bosses listening in on this. You guys are phenomenal in the fam. You make it very entertaining, not only to play, but to stream and watch as well. So keep it up, guys. Keep up the hard work. Thank you all to the fam, and we will see you in Discord, but we'll see you live next week. Next Wednesday, we'll be shooting for every Wednesday around 7 p.m. Central, so it's 8 p.m. Eastern. Take care, everyone. Have a great rest of the evening. Bye. Oh, we're in a raid. What am I doing? See, this is why I need more repetition in this, because I had to raid this out to somebody. I ain't gonna leave this. So let's go
No,
to...
you get to raid out with awesome 17 viewers.
I get the opportunity to share 17 viewers with other amazing folks in the fam. If you haven't been to our website, famguild.com.
We're doubling our prizes, so we're going to probably have at least double viewers.
Hopefully. I mean, we've had 60, 70 viewers at a time before, too, on one of our earlier podcasts, so...
It'll be
Ebbs and
exciting when we hit
flows.
like 100 viewers, like at one time. It'd be cool.
Looks like A-Rod40. A-Rod40 is who we will be raiding out to, so let me go ahead and find him. A-Rod40, one of the newest members.
Anyway, we're gonna...
Oh, snap. Get off my stuff.
Touches of black.
There we go.
They say...
Let's not listen to advertisements. Alright, got the follow in there, so we're going to go hit up the raid. Show some love to A-Rod40, our newest member of the Fam Stream team. And let's get this rated out. Oh.
Make sure you follow everybody. If you're not, I'll be the first one to click it when we get there.
Yes. And eventually I'll get there. We will be raiding out. Someday I will have this down. Now, I was unprepared, but what's nice about the Fam Guild, you have the full schedules on our website. You can see who's streaming live. You can see what they're streaming, how long they're expected to continue streaming if they're on the raid chain. So we've got an awesome community of support up and down from a streaming platform standpoint and from a gaming standpoint. You got any questions about anything in this space, Fam Guild is where you want to be to get those answers. So, all right, we are starting that raid. Thank you again. Take care, everybody. Peace out. Love you all.